to by The Sound of Violence.
If you have a fighter that doesn't make maybe his career high is 100,000 and you need a main event, you go, oh, we're going to give you your biggest, we're going to quadruple your salary for one main event. And then he'll be like, damn it, screw the other guys, solidarity, my ass, I'm showing up to main event this place. So
I tell you, it may if you're a semi-learned individual, it makes what a 2-3 hour evening's repast now an ethical quandary. And it's getting harder for me to justify staying around. I mean, I can completely immerse myself in the portion of MMA that I really love, like jiu-jitsu, and never have to think about MMA again.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast that talks about the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and can't miss each week. I'm lying. We don't do skips anymore. I'm a fucking dirty liar already at the gate. I am Pulver. Oh, we also aim to be a form of mutual aid for the MMA community. I am Pulver, and I'm back yet again with my co-host, Chris Madaffer. How's it going, man?
Well, I was telling you, and you already know this, of course, when you don't see a specialist for a health issue you have, they give you drugs that don't quite work. So that's why I'm having a beer before my actual dermatology appointment on Thursday.
Hell yeah, brother.
If you're curious, yeah. If you're curious as to why I am drinking a beer. Doesn't help that it's hot as fuck in my room, but the beer helps that.
It's pretty warm in San Diego in general, and yeah, it's definitely warm over here as well.
Also, one thing that was hilarious, listening to podcasts, even just from the intro clip, and I listened to that podcast as well, whenever I hear someone mention just the term jiu-jitsu, I always, in my fucking head, hear Nicolas Cage go, jiu-jitsu. I swear to God.
Yeah, it's a problem, dude. It's very much like I can't hear anybody say "let's go" without wanting to do the fucking Nick Cage fingers.
Oh yeah, let's ride.
Yeah, let's ride. That's what it is. Fucking dude, every time.
Every time now when someone says jiu-jitsu, I hear that, and then what's he?
And
say
then you
to
just
me?
see spin kicks.
It's like jiu-jitsu. You see, is all about leverage. No, that's wrestling, right, Nick? Sorry.
Yeah, it's
leverage.
That fucking movie, dog.
Hey, don't know if we will do it this weekend, but we are. Mortal Kombat comes out this Friday.
For sure. Yeah, we're not going to do it this weekend, but I believe we do have an off week coming up here in a little bit.
I got G6. I won't say his name. Got to let him know.
Yeah.
He's still in town.
Yeah, we might have to get a little Trevor on there, too, if he's still around.
I think my brother wants to. My brother definitely wants to join in, too.
Shit, we might just have to make that thing a party.
I have the mic splitter. I have the really fucking long the aux cable, super long, so I can just plug it into the soundbar and then plug it into one of the mic splitters.
There you go.
Figure that out. So should be able to make it work.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I know my brother and G6 are definitely going to join, and I think Trevor wants to join, but on his own end of the recording or whatever, on his end from his computer.
For sure. Yeah, we will definitely have to make that happen. I think we can definitely pull that off. So, cool, man. Well, on that note, I guess we should get into format. So, Chris, do you want to start us off with your Popov Vodka presents, Doug Stanhope presents, your super legit sponsor for this episode?
Yeah, so this is a brewery that I've just recently heard of. They're from Sacramento. I really only just started seeing their cans maybe the last couple weeks in San Diego.
Interesting.
It's called New Glory Craft Brewery.
Okay.
From Sacramento.
I want to say I've heard of it, but that's the kind of name that it could be a bunch of places.
So this beer, I like the art, is called Gummy Worms.
Ooh.
Pale Ale.
Dude, that sounds good.
It's very, very good. So here's what they do. It says, it's hard to believe, but no confections were harmed in the making of this delicious brew. So how do we do it? We make this juicy, candy-like beer drinkable by using a careful balance of wheat, oats, and brewer's two-row barley. It is then aggressively dry hopped with Citra, Amarillo hops for all those sweet candied pineapple and fruit notes reminiscent of our favorite Fummy candies? Maybe they meant gummy. That's a typo. Yeah, it's like, what's a Fummy candy? Yeah, it's a typo for sure. Huh.
Gotta love typos on brewery cans. That is, it's always a fun thing to see.
Either way, this is a fantastic pale ale. This is very, very good.
Dude, that's crazy. First off, did not expect it to be a pale ale. Because I expected it to be like some kind of like citric acid kind of
this is
sour.
Really good. I was kind of like, going into buying this, I was like, dude, I'm probably going to fucking hate this or love it. So we'll see.
Well, I guess, Chris, we are just getting fruity as fuck on this episode because I, this week, am drinking a beer that I got from Tavor. I think it's Tavor and not Tavor.
It's Tavor.
Okay, cool.
At least that's how they said on Four Brewers.
But Four Brewers has gone back and forth on that for like a decade. I think they finally figured out it's Tavor. I'm pretty sure.
How the fuck's it spelled? Probably like Tavour.
Yeah, but why? That could go either way still, because favor in the UK is with a U, isn't it?
Well, that's just a European spelling.
Yeah, I know, but like it doesn't help with the pun of Tavor.
Yeah, I mean,
Tavor.
I'm just gonna go out and saying it's probably Tavor.
I think it's Tavor, but either way, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Because you don't say armor, you still say armor.
Right.
For color.
Right, but you don't say.
Maybe it's Tavor.
Well, but you don't say you're gonna get a purr of beer. You're gonna get a pour of beer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably.
I don't know how it's gonna go. Anyway, it's a kind of a box delivery. It's not really good. It's hard to describe it. Essentially, they pull a bunch of United States breweries, and you can buy single cans or multiples of cans. Generally, it's like $6 or $7 for a tall can, which is pretty like normal pricing around here. Especially since a lot of this stuff is like small batch and very fucking good. So, like, if you're going to buy it at a liquor store, it's going to cost you $6 anyway. And then, essentially, you can add as many beers as you want to your crate, and then to ship the crate, it's $15. That's, like, flat shipping. It's a really good deal, especially if you want to try beers from, like, weird places. So, I am drinking Modest Brewing. Also, not a sponsor, by the way. I've enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it, but it was cool to do it once at least. But I got Modest Brewing from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shouts out to TJ DeSantis. Twin Cities up in this motherfucker.
Is
Tri-Cities?
I imagine it's
Twin
Modest because it's spelled different. It's definitely not Modest, right?
It's definitely Modest. I just read it wrong. Good call.
Oh.
I don't know if it's Modest or not because Modist.
Modi?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it could...
It's probably Modest.
We're back to bad puns, Chris. It could go either way. Anyway.
I don't know.
They're in Minneapolis, and this is their Half Believing Gravity.
Hey, what if it's a typo? I'm kidding.
I hope Half Believing Gravity is not a Flat Earth reference, although looking at the crystals on this can makes me a little nervous that it might be a Flat Earth reference. But either way, this is a fruited Berliner Weiss, or I guess Berliner. Is it?
No.
Berliner Weiss is such a weird style because evidently it exists outside of Berlin, even though it's not supposed to. Like a lot of people
call a lot of fruited sours here kettle sours Berliner Weisses. So I would just go with Berliner Weiss.
Well, and they call it a Weiss on the can, or they call it a Berliner on the can, which is not how I would go about it. I would call it a Weiss, but either way, I know Dr. Bill's brewery, Wild Barrel. Specifically calls them SD Weisses instead of Berliner Weisses because they're made in SD. But anyway, this is a fruited Berliner Weiss or a fruited Weiss beer with tangerine and pink guava. But they also added wheat malt, tangerine, pink guava, coconut, almonds, milk sugar, and Madagascar vanilla beans. And as you can imagine, this thing is just it tastes like a goddamn smoothie. It's just tropical as all hell.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious. It tastes like a guava smoothie, basically. It's really good.
I still never really tried a beer like that, so I guess I gotta find a good one.
I mean, there's a couple. You know who has really good ones like that is North Park. Like some of their
that's right.
like their tikisito and stuff like that is kind of along those lines. They're very good. So highly recommend it. On top of that, we are recording this Monday night, which is 4/19. It is 8 p.m. in San Diego when we're recording this, which means in about 40 minutes, it's going to be 4:20 on the East Coast. So I also have some fresh-baked apple fritter that I got, which I do have a nug here that is pretty goddamn ridiculous looking. I don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera, but that thing is fucking ridiculous. And Fresh Baked pretty notoriously has some of the craziest looking nugs. This camera does not do this justice since I don't have it lit hard enough from the other side, but fucking fire. So I'm going to smoke some of that during this episode, and then in the second half, since I'm a goddamn degenerate, Chris, and actually I should mention, since I said Iggy sounds a little bit like Lewis Black in the last episode, which Iggy on Twitter has been roasting me for the entire time. Iggy of the Tinkerdome, if you guys don't know, and the fight site and all that. Well, Iggy hates that comparison, and I would argue...
You said he looks like Lewis Black?
Sorry, sounds like. Did I say looks? He doesn't look like Lewis Black
Lewis
at all.
Black, the comedian, right?
Yeah. He just, every once in a while, anyway, I don't want to do this again because Iggy hates this comparison, but... The comparison I hate that I always get is motherfucking Seth Rogen. Everybody, because I'm fat and I have a big nose and I smoke a lot of weed, everybody says I sound, even my goddamn girlfriend says I sound and remind her a lot of Seth Rogen. See, everybody gets it. So I can't hear it, but maybe it's just because I only hear
No, you don't really sound like him. I think it's like when you've laughed.
It's a laugh.
That's all it is, honestly.
It's a jolly laugh thing.
I
a jolly
just
stoner
remember,
laugh thing. Yeah.
When we were at Tap House, when Tyron Woodley knocked out Lawler, you just stood up. We were like, whoa! Just like
dude, because that was fucking insane. Danny Downs was there. He did damn near the same thing. So, but I did pick up some of Seth Rogen's weed strain houseplant or weed company houseplant. I picked up the Pancake Ice strain, which according to this is Kim Dog.
Pancake Ice.
Yeah, so they name them all after weather systems, which is how they named Pineapple Express back in the day. Like all the strains in their movies are all based off of weather systems. That's right. And so Pancake Ice is evidently a weather system in like the region they're from or some shit like that.
I think he's from like near Nova Scotia or Newfoundland or some shit.
Something like that. I'm bad with Canadian geography. I know Vancouver's on the left. That's all I know. I know Victoria's not too far from there because I've been there. Shouts to BC. But yeah, this is... So first off, weird-ass packaging for houseplant. Like super weird packaging. But yeah, Pancake Ice is Ken Dog crossed with Mandarin cookies. And it is, according to this was packaged... I got this on Thursday. So it would have been the... What's today? Would have been like the 14th or something like that. And this was packaged on the 6th. So super fucking fresh.
It looks fancy.
Yeah, it's a very weird fucking container. Like, also, I think the percentage on here, let's see, total THC percentage is 33.21, and total cannabinoid percentage is 39.25, which I think is one of the stronger that I've had. That is pretty fucking fire. And, oh shit, that is a pretty...
And Efra, did you say you had to order this, or did they sell it at a local dispensary?
March Nash. Actually, March Nash. I'll point to the hat since I did get a hat as well from March Nash this week. That's looking pretty fucking fire. It smells real good. Definitely, it doesn't have super chemi like diesel-y notes. It's a lot more. I would say it's a lot more on the cookie side, like the Mandarin cookie side. Super frosty though. And I'm going to go ahead and not smoke some of that first thing in this episode because it's 30%. So instead, I'm going to smoke the 28% fresh baked.
This is a little worse for wear.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I've had a lot of the fresh baked, so I know what that's going to do to me.
Oh, okay.
And the Pancake Ice is a 30% sativa, so we'll see how that goes.
I always remember I'm such a lightweight. Someone gave me a hit of their pen, which I know. I feel like that shit's way more concentrated. He's like, oh, don't worry.
It is, but it's also pretty light. Pens are like, well, you don't do dabs, so.
I just remember he was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's an indica." I'm like, "All right, thanks." And he didn't tell me it's like 33%. I was falling asleep as I was driving home.
That sounds about right. Indicas will do that to you if you're not careful. So yeah, I'm going to smoke a little bit of this apple fritter here in this first segment, and we will go ahead and get into it. But I'm letting you guys know it's a fucking weed episode. I'll probably dose my beer with some tincture
in the second
segment.
segment. I'll find some flour.
Oh, I think you might be able to find some around that house. I have a feeling.
That's the rumor.
Tis the rumor. All right. Anyway, we should probably get into format and not talk about weed and booze.
I'll go ahead and do a couple from. I had some notes from last week, I believe. A couple of them.
I've actually got. Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably gonna go over podcasts from last week and this week because I've got a bunch that cross over between the two, getting caught back up and everything. So, yeah, Chris, why don't you go ahead and start us into format with your MMA podcast you recommend people catch this week?
So I listened to Jack Slack episode 21 last week. I also listened to the one from just I think today, episode 21 from last week. After Demetrius Johnson got knocked out by Adrian Moraes in the one bantamweight title fight via knee to the head. Remember, it's like basically pride rules. You can hit someone if they're downed.
Kind of. I don't believe they don't allow soccer kicks anymore.
Oh, okay.
But they allow knees to the head of a ground opponent.
And I know immediately some folks were dicks and they copy and pasted, Mighty Mouse's original tweet, once Aljo had gotten hurt saying, "Oh, I think these should be," and they're like, "Oh, that's ironic." I'm like, well, that's not really irony. That's just a coincidence.
And he said he doubled down after the fight again. He's like, I still think they should be allowed. I think it's a part of the sport.
And
he's been saying that. Also, he's been saying that for like a decade. Like way before he went to one, he wanted.
I wasn't trying to. I didn't know where this whole conspiracy against DJ came from, and Jack pretty much shot that down, saying, "Well, it wouldn't make any sense there being any form of conspiracy, considering that his fucking head coach, Matt Hume, is vice president of operations of one."
Yeah. But there's no conflict of interest because he's not cornering him.
Yeah, exactly. Well. I don't know because I didn't see it, but
no. I mean, that's their argument.
Oh.
Hey, Matt in chat. Hell yeah. Sorry, guys. I just pulled up chat and saw. Oh shit, Iggy in the house as well. Iggy, you do not sound like Lewis Black. Just every once in a while, your delivery comes off a little Lewis Blacky. But Iggy, you are going to come up a couple times in this episode. And Matt, what is the fight? Oh, dude. Okay. So Matt Joy in chat just brought up the other thing, which is that Chris, here's the thing. I made a decision, and that is I got Seth Rogen's weed over Urkel's weed. I don't know that I made the right decision because Urkel's weed is with the company 710 Labs, which is an absolute banger of a company. As a matter of fact, I have some 710 Labs Percy rosin in my fridge back there, which is maybe the best hash concentrates I've ever smoked in my whole fucking life. It is absolutely a blast. So, yeah. Am I gonna have to go get the Jaleel White tomorrow if it's still around? I might have to go get the Jaleel White tomorrow if it's still around. You know what, Matt? God damn it! I'll see if I can get an Urkel strain coming for you, a review coming for you in the near future. Matt's right. I totally fucked up. The Jaleel White's where it's at. To be fair, Jaleel White's strain is way hard to get a hold of, though. Also, shouts out to Mark Fellows in the chat, ready for the Jimmy fucking Crute fight. Hell yeah. Yeah, we will have all kinds of... sorry, I just popped up chat and saw it was blowing up, so I wanted to get to a little bit of that.
Good.
But yeah, back to what you're saying, Chris?
Yeah, then Jack was saying there was questions regarding weight cut legitimacy of the promotion in one. It's like, is it behind closed doors? Like, is it even really public? I can't remember how they do weight cutting. I thought there was no weight cutting. From
well,
or it's limited.
There's no weight cutting, like just how in the exact same way that one has 500 million viewers every time.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, oh well, we don't disclose any of that information, but you can believe us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Totally believable. Yeah, then Jack breaks down the current rule set in one. He had a great discussion regarding that. He had hyped up the Christian Lee fight, which was a couple days later, and we saw how that went. Congrats to him on his title defense. He knocked out the guy who beat Eddie Alvarez, if I recall correctly. Let's see. Oh yeah, he said Prince Philip, he's dead. Prince Philip's favorite things were being racist and hiding his chomo son. That was pretty funny. And yeah, it's the fucking church, or not the church. Well, they have their own church. It's the royal family. They're all pieces of shit.
It's the church.
He said the Bellator card was shite. He says, I say this as a Bellator hater. He loves doubling down on that. He said, Kat Zingano, congrats on your submission over a girl who had 5 total fights. Hey, I like seeing Kat Zingano win, so I'm not going to rain on her parade there. And he says it's absolutely vital to piss off Marvin Vettori during a fight with him. And the last little note he had was about Mike Perry being more trouble than he's worth. And yes, we know that. And he still needs help. So that's what I had for Jack Slack from last week.
Yeah, it was really solid. Also, shouts out to this camera, which for the first time ever, I got it to autofocus on a fucking nug, and now it will not at all focus back on me. I'm just gonna have to smash my face into the camera to get back to the nug angle of. This is the worst. I hate this fucking camera.
Like, who's that on the camera? Is that Bigfoot? He's all blurry.
Oh my god, it's the worst. Maybe if I disable it and pull it back up. Nope, that didn't do shit. Okay, cool. Okay, well, keep going. I'll keep messing with this. But you had another Jack Slack episode, right?
Yeah, should I say that for the one for this week?
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, did I even have fucking notes on it? Or am I a lying piece of shit? Oh, here, I had a couple. He said, this boxing fight that was a thing, absolutely appalling commentary. I didn't watch it, so couldn't tell you. However, there was a coked out Oscar De La Hoya.
When isn't there?
Who else is there? Pete Davidson? That's random.
Pete Davidson, the only good part of that goddamn shit show, I will say right now.
The guy, I think his name was EC, the guy from Crime Faces.
That was fucking the best part, best part of that, yeah.
And apparently, he didn't even get to talk, really, because Snoop Dogg was just hogging all the mics. I don't know. Or just being loud and obnoxious. Bobby Knuckles looked fantastic. Gastelum had nothing for him. He did, kind of point out that, yes, Gastelum, it was a short notice fight. However, Whittaker was just way too fast in every aspect of that fight. Jack also very much enjoyed the Jessica Penne fight, so there's a throwback to one of her great fights in Invicta.
Yeah, I mean, Penne was a beast in Invicta, and a lot of people forget that because they don't remember the 115 division before the UFC absorbed it, but before she had 105 rather, yeah.
She was at 105 at one point, right?
Yeah, she was at atomweight. I think that was back when Watterson was at atomweight too, if I remember right.
Yeah, she fought Watterson.
Yeah, Penne was throwing the fuck down in Invicta at that era, and that was when she fought a lot of decent people, but Invicta also was a very small pool and did not include a lot of wrestlers or Joanna Jacek, so. But yeah, Penne looked good, man. Like, all things considered, off a crazy long layoff, and she was, for a while she wasn't even training. I mean, she was training, but she wasn't training. She wasn't in the gym every day with Angie and everything. Because if you follow any of that stuff, you'd be able to see. So
let's see. I will just briefly mention co-main event 448 from last week. Julian Marquez, the middleweight fighter. He's a middleweight, right?
Yeah.
Out of Kansas City, Missouri.
He's light heavy?
Or he might be 205 because he fought Sam Alvey, but I know Sam Alvey flip-flops.
I think he's 205.
Either way, great submission over Sam Alvey.
Yeah.
He had a very good call-out.
Of Zane Simon?
What's up?
Of Zane Simon?
Oh, yeah, right. Didn't he say, bloody elbow, I'm not going to have any interviews with you guys because they said some... What the fuck did they say? What did Zane say?
Zane said the most, benign, man.
Yeah.
It was, basically, Julian Marquez didn't look right. And then Julian Marquez was never doing interviews again.
He eventually said, hey, anyone else in Kansas City want to play pickleball, hit me up. And then multiple star players from the Kansas City Chiefs responded to him or some shit. So he has luck as far as getting call-outs, so good for him.
I mean, sure, but that's... I was going to be degrading sounding, even though I didn't mean it like that, so I'm not going to make that joke. Let's just say the co-host of his podcast, I think, has way more influence over what he says in the ring than what he says. And there's a reason why we don't cover that podcast, because we also didn't cover Joey Diaz's podcast with Felicia Michaels either. Beauty and the Beast. What's good? There's a deep reference that has a lot of layer. The shit was like an onion, Chris.
Ben and Chad are watching the fantastic movie, spy thriller called Spy Game, starring Brad Pitt and Robert Redford. That movie is great.
I don't know if I ever saw that.
It's a very good movie. And I remember that movie since I was a kid. Brad Pitt wears a Padres hat in that movie.
Of course, that's what you remember from it.
Well, yeah, you gotta remember for some reason.
Such a fucking homer, bro.
Well, it's also it's also a good disguise, because you're like, well...
Let's see your Tatis tattoo on your titties, bro, because I know you got them Tatis titties out there.
Yes. Let's see. Lots of dumb shit said by Rose. That's right, of course. I mean, we'll get more into that later.
Yeah. When we get to some Iggy talk and some other people, yeah, we will definitely get to that, because a couple people killed it this week with that stuff.
Yeah. Then there was the whole thing with the war of words between Dustin and McGregor, with the whole donation thing. Yeah.
The war of words, aka Dustin being like, "Hey, everybody knows how Connor's a liar." Connor being like, I mean, I believe I didn't specify which lie I was making, so it doesn't really count, bro.
Yeah. They are concerned about Mike Perry, just like Jack Slack is. They said Marvin Torrey didn't make a good case for a title shot after his win over Holland. They said Derek Brunson, they should probably just fight each other, I guess. I don't know. Probably be a terrible fight.
Probably. So real quick, since Mark Fellows asked in chat, and I gotta ask Mark what he's drinking as well, because I'm sure it's a dope ass. He already told me it's a triple IPA, ready for 261. Dude, Mark Fellows does not fuck around with session IPAs. You can get your session IPA the fuck out of his face, bro. It's double or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Mark, I am drinking a either Modest or Modest. I have not figured out how that word is pronounced. Oh god, I'm gonna fuck up my fucking Zoom again, or my focus. But it's Modest Brewing or Modest Brewing out of Minneapolis. I'm drinking their Half Believing Gravity, which is a fruited Berliner, tangerine, pink guava, super fucking refreshing. Because I knew it was gonna be hot, and I've been all about like light fruited beers recently. I mean, I guess it's living in a beach city will do that to you, huh? So Chris, do you have anything else on that Jack Slack at?
Or on the CME 448.
CME, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, the only last thing I had is they just said there might be some unintended consequences of taking those two fights in Holland's case. You know, because I mean, I think at this point he knows he does have to focus a lot on, I mean, wrestling, grappling. He's got to work on it if he really wants to be with the big dogs.
You mean he has to try doing it?
Yeah,
because I feel like he's not trying to do
I know,
it.
Didn't Daniel Cormier invite him to AKA?
I know Daniel Cormier shamed him enough during the broadcast that he should at least ask Cormier to go to AKA for a little bit. Because Daniel Cormier
I noticed
audited the shit out of him.
Holland kept posting the memes that they were making on RMMA and on some of the other pages, like As Shopped As It Gets and Best Casual MMA memes. Is since when Kevin Holland returns from Dagestan, and it shows like the Dagestani beard, and his name's like Kevin Hollandiev, or Holland or Magomedov or some shit, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so he was having fun with that. So.
Yeah, I mean, dude's got a great sense of humor. I just wish he fucking tried. Like, Ed Gallo has my favorite take on Kevin Holland right now, which is kind of... He has a take about a lot of fighters right now that I'm kind of starting to get the feeling about, which is like, there's a lot of dudes who are just not really trying and
Are they just having too much fun, do you think?
Well, no, they're just talking a lot and letting their mouth get them places, and then if it's a bad matchup... Yeah, it's a bad matchup. I'll talk my way out of it and get a better matchup. Like, I don't know. I bet we could name someone very prominent in the sport who has a fuck watch who does that a lot. But, yeah, it's a frustrating thing to deal with, so. All right. Well, I guess I can get into a couple catches as well, since you went through a couple. Let me see. So I got Tinkerdome, episode 10, actually, since we got Iggy in chat. That's the first one I'll start with. This is essentially an MMA Econ 101 class with Haxor Eyes and Tommy Elliott. Just a really cool discussion about kind of just not only the economics around the sport, and especially the UFC, but why a lot of the John Jones negotiations may not actually get anyone anywhere other than John Jones getting paid. Like, a lot of that, why a lot of that negotiation may not actually help or even hurt other fighters. It just won't affect them. And they also bring up a lot of interesting points about the fact that a lot of the anti-UFC stuff and the anti-Endeavor stuff is not necessarily... Like, a lot of the reason why Endeavor is booking the way they are is not necessarily because of they're trying to go out of their way to fuck people over. It's just they're I believe you used the phrase the UFC isn't immoral, it's just amoral.
Yeah. Which
is like one of the best descriptions I've heard about it, which is like they're not ACA, you know what I'm saying? They're not run by Kadyrov. Like they literally are just like pure profit driven to a gross degree that is absolutely unconscionable, but it's not like going out of its way to be terrible. It's just by its own nature of being a giant corporation. That's how giant corporations work, which is definitely not a giant problem in this country that's ruining everything. Anyway, so they also talk about how anti-union the UFC is just in nature from its start. Yeah. Iggy says in chat that he's been having trouble summarizing it for the description as well, because it really is a discussion that kind of just covers all of the sides of MMA. Go ahead.
I'm kind of losing it for a second.
Oh shit! Am I back? Am I just losing Chris? Can anybody in chat hear me? Here, that's the question. Chat, let me know if you can hear me. Because that way I can tell, because I think it's just Chris that I lost, which means I can call Chris back. So I will keep an eye on chat. Now. I think it's you specifically. But I'm not hearing from chat either, so we will see. Iggy or Mark. Oh, yep, loud and clear from Mark. So Chris, it's on your side. I'm going to call you right back. He can't hear me. I'm just going to call him back. All right. While Chris is doing that, I will keep talking about this. Yo, Iggy. So, actually, sorry, I'm reading and I'm trying to do things all at once. Iggy just mentioned in chat that he mentioned the book Why Nations Fail, which is a book that I believe I heard Robert Evans mention not that long ago, or maybe him or Pat Wyman, I'm not sure which. But that's super fascinating, and I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Oh, good. Chris is just a Skype picture now. I wonder why that would fucking be the case. Okay. Chris, can you hear me? Okay, good. Chris can't hear me either. Cool. Oh, wait. I see Chris. He's so choppy. Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, we'll keep it going. I'm not picking up your video now, which is interesting. You may want to restart your computer and call me back. Oh my god. Okay, cool. So this is working out great. This is working out so good. You know what? We'll let Chris hang out, and hopefully his audio will catch back up. And if not, I will make him fucking restart, and we will come back here in a second. Anyway, back to Tinkerdome. Now that I have completely gone all over the place. Yeah. Iggy mentioned the book Why Nations Fail and about it being really good on econ and geopolitics. I'm definitely going to check that out. And also, Iggy, if you have a recommendation for like the history of kind of Russian conflict or conflict in that region in general, I'd love to learn more. Not from like some fucking white Western people writing it, because I feel like that is a weird way to learn that history, especially from that region. So, if you have any recommendations, definitely let me know. I feel like Chris is slowly getting back there. It looks like his video is like struggling to get back in there. So hopefully we'll have him back here in a minute with like consistent frame rates and stuff. I hear you fine. Yeah, I hear you. It's just you get a little choppy. Yeah, white people, 100% Chris, 100% Iggy. Let's see. So the other things I added for notes on Tinkerdome is they talk a bit about what happens if the top fighters do sit out. And essentially how they'll end up having to pay a lot of the lower tier fighters more, which essentially just loses them almost the same amount of money or a marginal amount of money for less hyped fights. So it's just it's really interesting. It's just an interesting discussion about fighter economics in general, and among people who like, one thing I really like about Iggy and the Fight Side dudes is they are not, like, while a lot of them have similar views, they're never hesitant to disagree with each other or like just clown on each other for like, I don't know about that one, but I will say, and I like that kind of honesty because it makes for a lot more fun conversation. So I really liked it in general, and I highly recommend it. I mean, I like Iggy's show in general, which is, Iggy knows this. I've been telling him all the time, even though he hates my Lewis Black comparison. Which I really need to stop bringing up. But, you know, it's like the one good line in Fight Club about the sore in your mouth that you can never stop playing with. It's like that. I've now become obsessed with constantly calling Iggy Lewis Black, and this is going to ruin both of us. So, cheers. Love you. Let's see. Chris, how you doing?
I can hear
you. Iggy sad faces in chat.
You're talking about Iggy. I listened to the one thing he did, like the news recap.
We will get to the news recap in a bit, because that is can't miss for me this week. Because holy shit, that show! But I'm not trying to. I don't want to burn it before we get there. Let's see. Your video is completely. I don't know if you guys can see, but Chris's video is actually there. It's just a very, very thin line right next to my video because it's been downscaled so fucking hard. Anyway, sorry, I'm reading Iggy stuff in chat. But yeah, absolutely recommend Tinkerdome episode 10. It's a blast. And to be honest, I think at this point I'm just doing the Lewis Black thing because I know it bugs him and I can't stop. So to be honest, though, I almost did another comparison of someone he reminded me more than I thought of this week, but I think it'll make him angrier. So I won't bring up that his delivery is a little bit like Hunter S. Thompson also, which I am also a big fan of his delivery. So, that's true. I do bring up Iggy every episode, and Chris every episode is like, oh yeah, which one's Iggy again? To be fair, Iggy, your real name is not Iggy, right? Iggy is like a nickname? Because every single time anyone calls, I think is it Tumen? Every time anyone calls you by your real name, I have a panic attack. I'm like, oh God, who the fuck? How do I not know? Oh, right, Iggy. All right. Well, on that note, since we're talking about finance stuff, Chris, I'll get to another one of my catches, which is Kirklands Corner, episode 10. Were you able to catch that?
Unfortunately not.
Hey, look, your video is slowly coming back. Episode 10 was really solid. It's
nice.
Hey, there you go, Tumen. Shouts to Iggy's real name. Let me know which one you prefer in chat. I'll actually call you whichever you prefer. I've been going with Iggy since that's what you use on the show. So let's see, Kirkland's Corner episode 10 with John Nash is really good. Again, a lot of financial talk, and economics talk, which is a thing that is going to be happening a lot, I have a feeling, in MMA over the next couple of years. And that shit's not going to get quieter, it's just going to get louder. Especially with a lot of the stuff John Nash brings up on this episode about Endeavor buying out Flash Entertainment and the rest of the Fertittas in the original deal. And then in this recent deal, Endeavor is buying out KKR and Silver Lake with the money and shares in it, like by giving them money and shares in Endeavor. So essentially, Endeavor's going to be able to own all of the UFC, which is Iggy. God damn it. I can't read and talk at the same time. I'm so bad at hosting, Chris. I'm the fucking worst ever. Let's see. Yeah. So Endeavor essentially is trying to own the entire scope of the UFC, since that's their biggest moneymaker right now. And by owning all of the UFC, when they do their IPO here in a little bit, it's going to be a much easier sell for them, because they're going to be able to say, like, hey, we have this thing that even during the pandemic made a fucking fortune and didn't lose money and still kept happening, and we can go back to Abu Dhabi and get paid and everything. And it's guaranteed money from ESPN. Like, it's all of that shit. So, interesting hearing John kind of get into that in depth. He talks about Jones and Ngannou's negotiations. He also talks a bit about why a union or collective bargaining is probably unlikely, which is actually we heard a little bit of that in the clip on the intro, which is something that John Nash brought up with Eugene and Alexi Ald on the If the Shoes Fit intro, which that will come up. But yeah, that's a really good point. And John's just been making a lot of points that I haven't really thought about. Like Chris, the one point he made this week that really made me think, John is arguing, so I always knew that the UFC was trying to do the Reebok deal, or the clothing deal specifically, number one, to clean up the image in the ring. Yep. Because it's way easier to sell to to TV corporations and that kind of thing if you have like a consistent branding and you can control that branding, right? So that's a much easier to sell to corporations like ESPN and that kind of thing. So you don't have like fucking Condom Depot is the go-to reference for all that stuff.
Yeah, or especially nowadays,
Dick's Tire
gun
Barn
store.
Or whatever. The gun store was a huge MMA sponsor for a long time. Yep. Yeah, 100%. So that was a big part of it. But what John's bringing up that I hadn't really thought about. Yeah, Tommy did bring this up on Tinkerdome as well. Some of the collective bargaining stuff, but. John mentions that he thinks the reason why they're doing that, why they did that deal in the first place, is so that the UFC has 100% control over anyone who enters the octagon as a sponsor, and so that company can no longer be like, well, listen, I don't want to have to pay the UFC to get my thing on the cage. I'll just pay this fighter, and I can get on their shorts for half the price, or a quarter of the price, or a third of the price, like a fraction of the price. So now the UFC is forcing everyone to pay them directly, and on top of that, they're doubling the money through the actual like gear deals, which they're making the fighters pay for the gear they're giving them out of their own money that they're supposed to be earning. It's like it's so bad. So yeah, it's just a really interesting discussion, and if you guys are all interested in kind of the in-depth details of a lot of that stuff, John Nash is one of the dudes bringing up some of the most interesting points, and I absolutely recommend listening to it, because anytime John Nash is on anything, it's worth a listen, because that dude is always doing all the financial research that nobody wants you to know, and so him, Jason Nash, and Paul Gift, every time I recommend listening. Did I say Jason Nash? I said Jason Nash, didn't I? It's Jason Cruz. Why did I say? I combined. Did I say? I think I combined John Nash and Jason Cruz.
Yeah, that all sounds very interesting and fascinating, but also scary. We already knew they weren't getting paid their actual worth. Hence the reason being that there's an embarrassing need to call out YouTubers because they want to get paid money. In the most embarrassing way possible. I know Luke Thomas brought that up on, Morning Combat?
I haven't caught Morning Combat in a bit.
He essentially
fucking Brian Campbell's been pushing me off of Morning Combat. I can only do so much tip-to-tip content every week without being like, what am I doing?
Yeah, the guy Campbell was a little bit kind of a
racist against Asians again?
Oh, I wasn't surprised if he was, but he was just kind of annoying about it too. He was just... I don't fucking know. Either way, they both hate the fact that MMA fighters should have to call it YouTubers. I agree, but it also just shows the state of the lack of pay and financial, there's no financial security for mixed martial artists either way, in comparison to, say, boxing, which
or almost any other sport. Yeah.
Yeah, any other sport.
Yeah, apart from like fucking disc golf. Shouts to Ben Askren. the one sport he's still the champion. Oh God. Okay, that was.
You see your boy Steve Smith's comment?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't think.
It's just basically what you think they'd be.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Mark Fellows in chat saying, Brian Campbell just talks over and interrupts Luke Thomas.
That's all he was doing.
Yeah.
Hey, Luke's making good points, but I can't quite hear him.
Yeah, how else is Brian Campbell going to tell you about the show All That from the 90s if he can't shout over Luke's great points? Yeah. It's all that, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he must.
My posse and my friends.
You must also love orange soda and being quiet in the library. I don't know.
Fucking sweet jokes, bro. Where's Amanda Bynes when you need her? Well, actually, I'll go. Where's Lori Beth Denberg when you need her?
Yeah.
There's a better reference. Although I'm sure she said horrible things recently because she's an old white lady now. Anyway, do you have any other honorable mentions for this week?
Yeah, just one more. Fitz Nation, the podcast.
Oh,
hosted by Brennan
nice.
Fitzgerald. He had a really good interview with Megan O'Leary. It was really nice.
Nice.
She discussed she's from New York City. She discussed her massive, mostly baseball. It's like her first love. The Yankees being amazing in the 90s and early 2000s would help. But she talked about how just the reality of trying to get your dream job, but realizing when you kind of get part of your dream job, it isn't really up to par of what you thought it would be. And then kind of just straying away from that. She said her dream job, going through school and even grad school is, I'm going to be a sideline reporter for the New York Yankees. That'd be amazing. She actually was, I kind of want to look this up. She was a sideline reporter for the Padres.
No way!
Yeah. Yeah, she said she lived in San Diego for a second, and she said,
I wonder
just a lot of it was just the pay, obviously, or lack of pay.
Whoa, Chris is getting choppy. Let me cut him off, and hopefully it'll resync.
She said she just didn't really.
You back? Okay.
I think good now.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she was just saying, she's like, it'll be a baseball sideline report, but it wasn't as cool as I thought it would be, so she was disappointed in that. Well, how did you get that report? She said, well, about that, she said her grandfather was a champion boxer in the Navy, and her uncle was an All-American wrestler at the program. I forgot what fucking college that is. Or school.
Which one?
And then they did a book.
Oh my god, Chris's fucking internet is absolutely murdering me right now. Which college was it? Or which school?
I don't remember the college or the school, but initially, combat sports was literally in her blood, in her family. They both discussed how they met each other's spouses. It was funny. Brendan met his wife, who was basically a professional poker player, evidently, in Vegas, in a hotel lobby, during they kept referencing baseball. It's like when the Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees in 2004 or some shit. Anyways, she ended up meeting Joseph Benavidez in a Vegas hotel lobby. They exchanged emails and whatnot, and then started dating, and then she just kind of went back and forth of trying to go to grad school in the Bronx. She ended up going to Northern California, where Joe in Sacramento. A nice interview. I was very candid. Yeah. Now, she does a great job. With ESPN, with the UFC. I don't recall how the job works. She's employed.
Chris, your internet is absolutely fucking murdering me. I am absolutely jumping in, and you are absolutely restarting your goddamn... Save what you have on your Audacity, start a new Audacity, and call me the fuck back, because I swear to God, the sound of baseball. Dude, oh my God, your internet's fucking murdering me. Okay, so Chris is calling us back. So, good God. I tried to tough through it. I thought I was going to catch back up. It's brutal, and you guys in chat are 100% right. So, luckily, I have a fuckload to talk about because I'm a big mouth with a lot of fucking things to say. So, you know what? We'll just hang out and chat for a little bit first off. Iggy, you're 100% right. You do live in a field, yet have better connection on your fucking podcast than I do. Normally, this is why I also have Chris record locally, and that's why we don't do it. That's why our podcast version is generally not the YouTube version. It's because I can actually get good goddamn audio out of that. But this is especially egregious. I do know Trevor from episode 200? I think 200 of our podcast. I think it was Or maybe it was 100. No, wait. We're on one. What am I talking about? We're on 194. It was episode 100 of our podcast that Trevor was on, and he absolutely... Yeah, Windows updates do be killing everybody. Dude, fuck Skype. Let me just say, fuck Skype so bad. Using goddamn NDI to connect to it. Anyway, we're hanging out and smoking some weed, I guess, while we reconnect with Chris after he restarts. You guys see anything tight? You been watching anything, Deb? Iggy, what's up with the fields in Russia, bro? Yeah, see, Skype actually hasn't been that bad for us lately, but yeah, we're definitely going to switch over to Zoom or something, because I'm just tired of dealing with it. To be fair, this one specifically is on Chris, because I know for a fact there's like fucking 7 people at his house all on Wi-Fi right now, because he lives with like 5 people, and I'm sure there's at least as many girls there, so yeah, the internet be tough, bro. Oh, Hack's dropping in. I'm doing the op. Tuman's bullying me, bro. I don't know if you've been paying attention. He's telling me about how his field has better Wi-Fi than I do. Anyway, here, you know what? I guess I can talk about some more podcasts since I got more notes. Yeah, this chat is popping off. I love you guys. All right, I want to save that to talk about with Chris. What is... I'm trying to, like... Oh, bro, Iggy, I'm obviously hardwired. Chris is also hardwired. But, yeah, it's still fucking... No, but everyone is on his Wi-Fi. That's the problem. Oh, my God. This would be way funnier if I didn't have a degree in computer networking. It's real not as funny when I do, because I know the problems, but just can't. I can only throw so much money to fix these problems. Oh, good call. Shawnee Podcast wants me to talk about how amazing the Severe MMA podcast is. I'm going to talk about how I am definitely the worst in that league, because I forgot a good 2 events in a row, and now I'm forever fucked in that in the fantasy league. So I think I'm like the only person behind me is Chris, because he forgot to sign the fuck up, so he didn't ever actually verify, if I remember right. Copper cables. See, Haxer Eyes, I live in Pacific Beach. You gotta be careful with copper cables. Those motherfuckers come up missing around these parts. I got people dying of fentanyl in the alley. Should be wild around here. No, but for real, yeah. I am hardwired, so is Chris. This is specifically, I think, just a fucking... For this episode, I think it's because there's like a group of people in it, or there's like enough people at his house all on Wi-Fi at once. Yeah, Hacks, talk about math. Oh, Sean Sheehan, you're 23 and 24 in Bellator picks. I gotta ask, that means you have been going at least partially with the classic Jack Slack bit of the all in on Coker, right? You gotta just bet all the favorites because that's how Bellator works. Oh, okay. Fair, Iggy. They're not Russian fields. They're Mongolian fields. 100% correct. You're right. Don't at all believe that I'm ever going to correctly... This is why I'm asking you for more references on the history of that region, because I'm fucking bad at it. So... Oh, good. Hey, look, there's a smoke alarm going off. This is the most off the rails fucking podcast we've ever done. I'm gonna smoke some more weed, and then I guess I'm gonna talk about podcasts until Chris gets back. I don't know where the fuck Chris is at. I figured he would have called me, but he's on Skype. Let's try calling him. Oh, hey, Dan Tom in chat. This is a goddamn party in here. Oh, my God. Yeah, the MVP role. Exactly. Sean Shade, you 100% got it. Hey, look at that. Chris is back and he's got video. And I bet I can hear him. Can you not fucking hear me? Can you not hear me? God.
I'm just fucking with
you. Oh my God, I was gonna murder you. So everyone's making fun of how fucking terrible your internet is. Iggy lives in the fields of in Mongolian fields.
What's funny is like
he has better internet.
You know what's funny? My internet's actually amazing. It's never actually done that. So that's the one time it would crap out.
True.
It's just pure Murphy's Law.
Well, that and there's like all the ladies up there with the Wi-Fi on their phones, I'm sure.
Oh no, that's what it was too. And then Trevor was there, and
yeah.
there's like 7 people in the other room, all on the Wi-Fi. And
See
shit.
What I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think someone was on Netflix or some shit. So all the bandwidths and whatnot.
100%. Yeah, we got a whole ass MMA podcast party in the chat tonight. It's a fun
they were
one,
actually they started fermenting hard cider, of course.
Damn, they popping off at your place, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, now everyone's asleep, so now the internet's gonna be good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Asleep at what? Fucking 9 o'clock on a Monday. We got a bunch of old ass friends, bro.
Yes, we do.
Just kidding. They're all younger than me.
Yeah, they're all younger than me as well.
Yeah, I was. Oh God.
Sans Trevor.
Yeah, and Trevor. Yeah,
Literally,
exactly.
he's the only one older than me.
No, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
By like 3 months.
Oh boy. Well, on that note, I guess we should get back to MMA podcast talk, huh?
Yeah, right. Is that what we do?
Yeah. I heard that's what we do. I mean, really, what we do is we hang out and drink with the MMA podcasters in our chat. But I guess on top, also, everybody tell me in chat what you're drinking on. Sean Sheehan, you live in Ireland. Why do you not have some hard cider? I feel like I know you got a can of at least some Harp up in that motherfucker, which I believe it's time to crack. Actually, it's probably early as shit over where you're at, huh? I forget everybody else in this chat except for us and basically Dan Tom is like super early in the morning, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, anyways, as you heard with my amazing internet.
Yeah, the Megan O'Leary episode was good, I heard.
It was solid, yeah. It was just kind of how they both got into. Just her dream job wasn't as cool as she thought it would be. That's just what I know. There's a saying. Basically, it's like don't try to chase what the fuck you think you want to do, because sometimes you'll disappoint you more. I can't remember what the fuck that one saying is, or some shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, say you always want to do one thing, and then like if you're too focused on that, you're gonna disappoint yourself no matter what. I don't fucking know. But
yeah, definitely. Also, Sean in chat confirming all he has is Harp. Oh man, do I know me some booze, huh? Oh, that's what's up. Iggy, what you gonna be getting? I'm not gonna say vodka. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm gonna ask if you're gonna get a Russian Imperial Stout. How about that? Although I guess Russian Imperial is probably not the things you want in front of just about anything, huh? So maybe a bad choice of phrasing. All right, Chris. The other catch I had this week, I don't know if you listened to. Also, Sean Sheehan wants more baseball talk, just like I want more soccer talk on his podcast. I'm guessing.
Yes, please tell me about the Premier League.
Hell yeah, Dan Tom about to White Russian it up. I fucks with that, and yeah, Dan, highly recommend Mai Tais.
So Dan abides.
Yeah, highly recommend the Mai Tai recipe I sent you. But honestly, you can do that with like. You can fudge just about all of that because it's very simple. So, and also, pro tip: Mai Tais are like a pretty straightforward thing. So you get some orgeat syrup, you can pretty much use it with just about any dark rum. Although I'm sure Mark Fellows may come in here and lay the smack down. This has just turned into a fucking drinking party pretty much at this point. Chris. So UFC Unfiltered. Did you listen to this? Yeah,
I did. It was good.
It was fucking hilarious. I normally, you'll drink anything. I fucks with that.
They both made me realize like I do like Star Wars. I've watched most Star Wars stuff. I've never engaged myself in Star Wars material outside of just what's on screen, right? And hearing George St. Pierre and Matt talk, I'm like, damn, these guys are fucking nerds. Just like it just kind of in comparison, like don't get me wrong, I watched all Mandalorian, it was dope, but I was like, damn, these guys, I was like, fuck, even George watched all the animated shit? Like,
Dude, they're
Jesus
watching
Christ.
the deep cut Star Wars animated shows
oh
and
my
like
God, I was
hyped
like-
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. Because
Yeah.
like, I was aware of like characters that were I never watched the animated shit, but I was aware like, yeah, they brought characters from that because the dude who did those did the show. He basically made Star Wars good again.
Right, and like everybody knows Clone Wars was dope. Like,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
they were referencing shit that was like some deep
Yeah.
cuts that, and
Like,
like
I didn't even know. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, and then they both actually, you guys will hear the clip on the break, but Matt, Sarah, and George St. Pierre during this episode, they realized they should have been best friends for years.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other hilarious part about this episode, it also features the fucking O2 trainer guy. Fun story. You guys know those TR2 fucking Bane masks that Khabib was wearing that are always on the cage?
Yeah.
That's the fucking O2 trainer guy.
Yeah.
So everything's back full circle. Also, he has a different version, which is trainable. You can wear it while grappling. Is what
And then
he says.
GSP's Bane impression was pretty hilarious too.
Oh God, it's it's maybe the goofiest episode of all time, and anybody who's heard them talk knows they should have been best friends for decades now.
No,
and,
well, clearly.
it's
Yeah.
it's very cute hearing them
was-
both just nerd the fuck out.
I noticed too when George was talking about it, he's like, yeah, when I got back with Disney and Marvel Studios, I was saying, hey, this time for my character, his character was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier back in 2014. He had a fun little small role in that, and he's back for the Falcon and Winter Soldier show that's on Disney Plus. He said, hey, could we actually incorporate like some mixed martial arts stuff? Could I do some grappling instead of just straight up kickboxing? And they're like, yeah. And I remember in the first episode, the character Falcon, the protagonist, tries to dive at him while he's like flying in the air, and George does like a fucking double leg midair and like slams him down. It was pretty tight. I was like, hell yeah, there's some MMA shit.
Yeah. Yeah, George said during that episode, he was like,
Yeah.
I wanted to show that my character is still like learning moves and growing as a martial artist.
I'm excited for this weekend because
very
he
fun.
just reappeared in episode 5 last week, so he's gonna be in the finale and he has a big role. So
Oh, yeah.
I just hope his character survives.
It seems like he's kind of hinting that it will on that episode.
There's a rumor that he's going to be in a big Marvel movie as like a recurring role.
It seems like he was kind of hinting that he had a project coming up
So,
that was going
I
to be
hope
related.
so because I'm really happy for that dude if that works out for him.
Yeah,
So.
man. Hey, give him everything Gina Carano doesn't deserve. that's
Exactly.
my move.
Yeah.
Fucking dude. GSP has earned everyone's love and adoration in a way that Gina Carano was just given. So I 100% am for that shit. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
so hard not to like GSP.
You could see how happy GSP is too, like playing like an antagonist role. It's pretty great.
Not just that, but dude,
smiling and shit. Yeah.
on this episode too, like he's just so excited to talk nerdy shit with Matt Serra, and Matt Serra's so excited too. Jim Norton's just sad and jerking off in the corner like he does. It's a great episode.
Yeah, I
man.
love how Jim Norton tried to message GSP. He's like, "Oh yeah, my favorite, the best Star Wars movie is The Phantom Menace. Jar Jar Binks is my favorite." And GSP's awkwardly like, "This fucking guy."
Yeah, that show when it's good is very good. It's just almost never good. So
Yeah.
man, yeah, I highly recommend that episode. UFC Unfiltered for April 12th, 2021. Listen to GSP and Matt Serra be adorable together. It's just so much fun. Man, who would have thought? Fucking decades later, those dudes are just like want to be BFFs. They both said it individually on that episode. It's so funny. All right, well, I guess we should keep on moving on. Let's see, Chris, do you have a can't miss episode for this week?
I do. Yes.
Oh, wait. So before you get to
I'll
that,
wait, though.
so Iggy,
I have two.
counterpoint though, he is playing. Oh, that is actually not great. I didn't really think about that. The fact that the dude he's playing is French and his superpower is to jump really far, in all caps, like a frog. That's not great. I didn't think about that. But in George's defense, George can jump really high. He's French and his name is George also. That was the argument George made for it, which is kind of like, I mean...
Oh yeah, his character's name is George Batroc.
Yeah.
Great.
It's...
And his character was made in like the 60s and 70s, so
that doesn't make it less racist, Chris.
Well, no, and French people are white, so it's okay. It's just white on white racism.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It's not. Excuse me. It's not It's not racist. It's xenophobic. So it's still bad.
That's true, Chris. The French have notoriously never been racist against anyone either. So.
Oh no, I didn't say that.
I'm saying that they definitely have never been found racist.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Of course.
No, French, notoriously unracist French.
Yeah. No, the Italians are innocent. They're all innocent. It's just the English.
Yeah, everyone's innocent. Oh yeah, the English super innocent.
Yeah. Ask Trump. The Nazis are innocent too. All right.
Okay. All right. There we go. All right. We've officially
I've gone full Eugene S. Robinson.
Yeah. Reminder to listen to Behind the Bastards this week. We'll get to that later. Let's see. So Chris, your can't miss episode that's not about French people.
Yeah. So I have two of them. I will go with the first one, which. Okay, so initially, I remember I sent you a picture of this on Instagram, and I was like, oh god, this person is there. However, this particular person was a decent co-host. He wasn't unbearable with any bad takes. But he actually kind of flowed along well.
Who?
Brenda, as they call him.
Oh, I did not listen to this, but I already think I have to disagree. But we'll go ahead and keep going. This is, let me guess. Someone might have smoked some weed in this episode.
A lot, brother. I'll say this: just the Cliff Notes version of it. Brendan wasn't really like he didn't interrupt and didn't talk over them. And I think what it was is because he's like, wait, I'm in a room with two dudes that can murder me, so I'm just gonna stay quiet. So that was nice.
Yo, our chat. I like anyone. I don't know how to timestamp this. Right after I laugh. If you want to know what our chat is like, look at the 3 messages after I laugh at this timestamp. Because that is, boy, does that really describe our chat. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at the chat.
Dude, I don't even want to read it out loud. People should just, if you're on YouTube, go look at the chat history. Because it is popping.
So yeah, Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. It's one of my canvases. Featured the newly minted UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. And the co-hosted by Brendan Shaw. Ngannou was really transparent and open about, his first loss to Stipe, what it taught him. I remember he was discussing a lot of anxiety. I think he didn't say the word depression, but just a lot of mental strife and kind of what he was feeling, that he lets everyone down. He's saying it took him a long time to go back to Cameroon because he was just kind of, what's the fucking word for that? He just didn't want to go back because he's thinking everyone was going to shame him for his loss. But he got like a hero's welcome. They're saying, hey, look how far you got, when you've come from nothing. And right. Everyone was so heartwarming and welcoming to him, saying, like, hey, you were in a title fight. This is just going to make you better.
That's cool to hear.
It was fantastic. He talked about just his change of scenery with his head coach, changing camps, going with even before being with Eric Sicknick at Extreme Couture.
Nick Sick, but yeah.
Nick Sick, thank you. I always get it fucking
Sick
backwards.
Nick is Eric.
Oh, you know why? You know why? It's because of the one cop that got murdered by the insurrectionist. His last name is Sick Nick. That's why. I apologize.
Yeah, you should apologize. That's a bad way to confuse him, bro.
Yeah, it's because I kept seeing that name all over the news.
Oh, damn it. Boy, that's not... Now I'm forever going to...
start.
Great. It's all good.
Anyways, yeah, so not even just the first loss to Stipe, changing his mindset. He said it was that consecutive loss in the fight with Derek Lewis, the fight that gives me PTSD still to this day.
Oh, yeah, you were in the building for that, right?
I was there, yeah. And a quick visual description of what that fight looked like this. That's all you saw if you were there, okay? It was like a scene out of fucking Gladiator. Everyone just yelling "fight" in unison. It was great. One of my favorite fights ever. But no, on a serious note, he talked about he just couldn't concentrate during that matchup against Lewis because they're like, oh, he was too much anxiety. He's like, what if this dude takes my head off? What if I do this wrong? And it just became that. And he said he was so much into his own head by the time the third round ended, since it was only a third round fight. He was like, okay, I'm ready now. Like he was actually like he got his confidence. Right. And they're like, Francis, the fight's over. And he's like, you fucking serious? Like he literally had no idea, no realm, no just sense of what time was or anything. It all just went by, and he really bummed him out.
Yeah. Well, and you could tell that was a stressful fight for both dudes because they were both just fainting and looking like they were so hesitant that entire time.
Yeah, he said apparently, too, Derek was dealing with a back injury, too.
Super bad one, yeah. Which is why Derek was even lower output than normal.
Yeah, and then he said that the biggest part that frustrated him was just the back and forth and injuries that Daniel Cormier and Stipe kind of kept happening to each other. I mean, it didn't help that Stipe's eye got basically gouged out in that first fight, and then he was off for like a year. So Francis was stuck in limbo. Mike had a lot of fun points in that he was saying that knockout that you had against, he described it as the black guy with the Russian name, Jairzinho Rosenstruik. And of course, Brendan calls them, Rosenstruik, or Rosenstruik, just his inevitable fuck up with the name.
At this point, I'm just surprised he can still make words.
Yeah, to be fair, he didn't talk too much. And Brendan actually had a fair couple of good points. He had a good point in that, and what Mike said too, is that when you're a contender, everyone's afraid of you because you don't have the belt yet. But once you get that belt, everyone becomes hungrier and less scared of you. It's like some sort of weird way of thinking in combat sports.
Right.
I'll kind of roll through some of these notes. It's kind of more like you have to listen to it to kind of really kind of grasp what they were talking about. But Francis is unbelievably humble and open about just everything, really. How he dealt with loss, dealt with doubt, fear, anxiety. He says he really just wants John Jones next. He did bring up the point, of course, that he wants to fight Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. I think that's also just telling of, hey, I don't get paid shit. And he talked, and Mike Tyson didn't even realize that initially. Mike was talking about, he's like, oh, Mike legitimately thought he was making like the big bucks. He's like, oh, you're champion now, you have a lot of money. And Francis is like, no, Mike, I don't have money. That's the thing.
Yeah, but then also Mike was like, well, you should hold out for money. And then Brendan Schaub, I heard, jumped on him and was like, well, no, Mike, you don't understand the business model in MMA.
That was the one thing, though. He was like,
yeah. The fucking dude who was whining about not getting paid in MMA the entire time is now standing for MMA's business model? What the fuck is that?
Hey, remember, Brendan is a person who feeds people. He puts food on the table when he comes to the town. Just remember.
That's right. He's a self-made man, Chris. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah. A certain comedian that always jokes about a stool had nothing to do with that. Anyways.
I don't think he jokes about it as much as he tries to impregnate it. But yeah.
That's very fair. And touche.
To be fair, it is his height, so.
Yes. God damn it! I remember Darren Till posted something amazing the other day. He's been on a roll about Joe Rogan. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Brendan.
It said like something Brendan Schaub's point of view, and it showed like Joe Rogan like with his shirt off, like huffing and puffing or something like that.
And then the best part about that post was Schaub always says he doesn't read the comments. And then Chris, wow, that's hilarious. Dan Tom says Chris's Schaub impression is low key one of the favorite parts of the show. Dude.
Question B? Never met him.
100% B. Dude.
You talk about Tan Dom? Never met him.
Well, the best part of that post on Reddit, if I remember right, was the thing that said Brendan Schaub's view, and it's Rogan shirtless, look like he's fucking him. And then that was a story that on Instagram that was viewed by Brendan Schaub.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. But he doesn't look at comments, though, bro.
Yeah, no, clearly doesn't.
Which is the same thing Rogan says, which is like, oh, no, I don't look at comments. I have Jamie read the comments and tell me the good ones. Which is the same thing, but... Also, yeah.
The only time there was a lot of overlap and they were kind of talking over each other is Mike Tyson said, I don't think managers are good. He's like, you need to have a lawyer. But then Francis is like, dude, I can't afford a fucking lawyer. And then Brendan kept jumping in saying, yeah, we can't afford lawyers. And then just Mike was just very high. And like, you need a lawyer, you need a lawyer, Francis.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but you just can't afford a lawyer.
Just like John Jones needs a lawyer. Yeah, like fucking...
and John Jones is what Francis wants next, clearly. He says he doesn't want to fight Derek Lewis, like, at all.
Also, have you smoked any of Tyson's weed?
I have not.
I might. I'm thinking about buying a joint of it tomorrow. I know a delivery place who has a $15 joint at the Toad, which is like, it's not a bad price.
And then just the last couple things. Mike is making his Legends Only League. I think I heard about that previously, where it's just, I don't want to talk about that.
You mean old guy fights?
Yeah. God damn it.
You mean Triller?
Well, yeah.
Oh wait, that we don't talk about Triller.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I got for that. Very good listen though. And then my next can't miss, I know, is definitely one of your can't misses because I saw.
Hell yeah, it is. I believe this young man might be in chat as well.
That's the rumor.
Tis the rumor. Protect Your Neck, episode 256 with Dan Tom was really fucking good. Yeah, Dan went on a long discussion at the beginning of the reply guys on Twitter coming at him over hashtag Stop Asian Hate. And he really had him and Iggy, which I will get to in a second, had my favorite all-around takes on and just kind of thoughts in general in discussions around the Rose and Wei Lee situation, we'll call it. The Rose being a fucking shithead situation towards Wei Lee Zhang. That whole fucking thing was so unnecessary and so ignorant. And her fucking 800-year-old boyfriend should have been able to tell her that.
Her Crystalia boyfriend.
I mean, it's not Crystalia. Yeah. Anyway, I really like Dan's take on this, and I thought it was
awesome.
Not only well educated, but like Dan talked about it in a way where he not only discussed his own background and why it's fucked up from his perspective, but also why it's fucked up just as an all-around history perspective. And if you do any kind of digging on a lot of that stuff, it is very much not the way a lot of that was portrayed, and it was just handled very poorly by Rose as a whole. So I really enjoyed Dan's take on that. Also mentioning the fact that Rose doubled down to it to Ariel, which I didn't even think about. But like,
yeah, he's
Jesus.
like, hey, you're doubling down to a Jewish man when in the same sense, Rose's ancestors, who were part of the USSR, the same country that initially sided with the fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
One thing I wasn't aware of this, honestly. I know in school, whether it's a public school system or private school system, they talk about Japanese internment camps. I knew that the Japanese government definitely mistreated just Chinese people in general. I wasn't aware of the stringing up of Chinese women and like using them as bayonet practice. That was pretty fucking gnarly.
Jesus.
I remember Dan mentioned that. That was difficult to hear.
Yeah, I must have missed that
but
part.
Unfortunately,
Jesus
not surprising,
Christ.
knowing how I don't know if this is politically correct, how savage the just Japanese military was during that World War conflict, just with their war tactics they had. Just with, I mean...
Yeah, and when
you know what I mean? It's fucked.
So it was really interesting to hear Dan get into that, and I don't want to dive too deep into it, just in the same way because I also want to state that, like, that really shined in this episode, and it's the reason why it's can't miss for me. On top of that, Dan also had some fucking awesome fight talk in this episode too that I don't want to like not focus on either. Like his preview for the Bellator card and his recap of the UFC card and preview, I forget which one it was, recap or preview. My notes are all running together at this point because I have so many weeks in one. But his preview is really, really solid. So I highly recommend all the stuff that Dan Tom put out this week and every week, to be honest. I mean, Dan knows how much we like Dan Tom. Shit. Ain't nobody fuck with a Barfly reference as hard as Dan Tom and me, I'm pretty sure. Or a Film Vault reference, for that matter. Hell. Fucking holy F. So, yeah. I guess shouts to Anderson Cowan. I don't know where we're at this point. I'm a little buzzed from all this weed, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, Protect Your Neck, episode 256 was absolutely incredible, and I highly recommend it. Let's see, and then Chris, I think we both have the Combat Sports News recap as a can't miss, right?
Yes, we do.
So, speaking of more motherfuckers in chat making great content, Iggy dropping just straight bangers on his Combat Sports News Recap show. I believe Pheno Sky was the one who edited this, and I think we retweeted them saying that you really need to watch the YouTube version of this to really sell it home.
Oh, it was funny,
dude. I don't want to make. Listen, Chris? It's just you and me. We're not. You can't hear us right now, I'm sure. Iggy's really fucking funny in this episode, and it's one of the best news shows I have heard. With just like, I don't want to see. I'm not going to make another Lewis Black comparison, but if there was a comedy style news show for MMA, I don't know anyone doing it better than Iggy right now.
I liked, and like you said, someone edited just all like the music that they pumped in, right, and everything, like with the visuals too.
Yeah.
The one with the race war bit because of Patty Pimblett, that was pretty gold.
That was solid. The salute was really solid.
The one that was good, and then
Iggy's adorable cat. First off, Iggy, we got to know the name of your cat in chat. I'm telling you right now. Because 100%, I'm telling you guys, Iggy, especially in this Combat Sports News Recap episode, it's one of the funniest MMA podcasts I've heard this week by far. And again, shouts to Pheno who does the editing, and it's so good. I am very excited for that show.
Once I heard the cat, forward. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. There's gonna be an interrupting cat. Like, you got to pick up the cat.
Kuzia. The cat Kuzia. Shouts to Kuzia, because Kuzia is fucking adorable and was a blast on this episode.
I just remember there was, because I had the YouTube version on, of course. It's on my laptop here, and I was just, like I said, playing this show, and I was like, oh, I'm hearing something. What the fuck's going on? All of a sudden, I see him going like this and like clown horns. I'm like, oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Dude, so good. Oh my god, there's so many good jokes in that.
And then he's just like, I can't wait for McGregor. He's a shite person, but him fighting Dustin, he's just like, yeah, and he starts like jumping up and down or something, like throws his.
No, it wasn't. It was it's fucking Sandhagen Dillashaw is what it was. How dare you with the fucking Connor Dustin? You were gonna get lit on fire in the chat for that one.
He said Connor sucks, and then he said, how about that TJ Sandhagen fight? And he started jumping for joy. That was great.
So also on this episode, though, aside from just the great jokes that Iggy had, there's also just I really liked a lot of the discussion. Again, very smart and like well-rounded and well thought out take about the Rose and Whaley situation from someone with, I would argue, way more invested interest in those kinds of things and like a way more well-rounded. I don't know. Americans fucking suck at world history, dude. Like, we are the worst at world history, and like we've talked about this on the show. I've taken like advanced European history classes and shit like that, and I have very poor knowledge of world history. Like, I've been in all advanced classes in a fairly well-off big city, and like my knowledge of history is pretty trash. So it's not great. Our knowledge of history in this country is very weird. And some of our textbooks from when we were a kid were like, looking back on them, a lot of white people in those, huh?
I just remember they didn't even really talk about like the genocide or systematic rape of like indigenous people in North America. It was just more like, hey, racist white people discovered this land, and then there just happened to be Native Americans here, and they all lived happily ever together. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how history books kind of construed that.
Oh, 100%.
At least in public school.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Some of the other stuff in this episode, though, so we can get through this. Actually, Sean Sheehan saying right now, Patty Pemblett's going to get himself into so much shit. 100%. That was one of the big topics in this one, which was a blast. I mean, just the entire thing. It's just so much fun. If you guys are not watching the Combat Sports News Recap, you're not doing MMA podcasting correctly, because I'm having a blast with it. And then, let's see. Chris, did you have any other can't misses for this week?
No, that was it. I had a couple more things I'll mention, but other than that, nothing really for can't miss. Just those two.
Cool. So then the one that I got is If the Shoes Fit. Slow news day.
This one was really good. I did listen to this one.
Yeah, this is the clip on our intro.
Yeah.
And they actually talked for the first time in a long time. They talked about MMA, which was weird because they haven't done that I think since the last time we played a clip of them, about January of 2020, when Alexi Old said, we will no longer take what you give us.
I'll say this. To be fair, there's good reason why they haven't done MMA coverage, considering terrible things that directly affect 2 out of the 3 on the show.
Wait, now I'm so confused. Iggy, what take about what? I'm so confused. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was saying it doesn't surprise me they didn't really discuss much about MMA until now, considering the terrible things that have happened that would directly affect 2 out of the 3 hosts on the fucking show.
Yeah.
Yes, I would not give a fuck about MMA if I were,
Yeah.
Alexi or Eugene. So.
For sure. Yeah, it's wildly frustrating. And this was a really interesting episode overall for them. Oh, on the Whaley situation. So, I forgot to say what Iggy's take was. I don't want to... Iggy, the whole thing is I say that your take is good and then people go listen to your takes, they listen to your show. That's you're making me say the quiet part out loud about how our show works. If I say your entire take, then everybody's not going to go listen to your take, and then you don't... But that's how the... All right, so Iggy's take is that Whaley is basically just propagating, like she's doing the thing of conflating a person with not only a state, but the fact that you can't, like, as someone involved in the CCP. Yeah, I was gonna say fucking Iggy knows I'm gonna misquote it and put my foot in my mouth, which is exactly what I'm trying not to do. Also, no, but essentially, as someone under the CCP, a lot of your takes and feelings are monitored by the CCP, and you do not say things against the CCP. It's kind of the overall thing, which is why you can't just conflate Whaley with automatically liking or agreeing with the Chinese government. Just like it would be weird to say Iggy agrees with the Russian government or I agree with the U.S. government. So, yeah, just people are people and treat them like people. It's kind of the take. I know, hot take in 2021 nowadays. Back to if the shoes fit until Iggy yells at me about how I'm racist against whatever I just said. Okay, says the most fun parts when I fuck it up. So that's super fair because I do that.
Just imagine, Pulver, that you had a loaded pistol mounted on top of your monitor as you're doing your podcast right now.
Oh, I just get shot every week. It'd be terrible.
Well, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Putin's the life giver and all father. He says in chat. 100%.
Putin is God.
Yeah. And Biden definitely doesn't just lock migrant children in cages like every other president for a while now. Because we're a terrible fucking country who...
Drone strikes.
Yeah. Well, shouts to Raytheon.
Oh, yeah.
If you want your knife missiles to be... God damn it. Go listen to Behind the Bastards, everybody. God damn it, that show's good. We'll get to it in a minute. Anyway, if the shoes fit, we're staying on topic, Chris. They talk about why Jones and fighters should listen to some of Tyson's negotiation advice, which actually they were the ones that said that Brendan Schaub kind of just shit all over that. John Nash also talks a bit in this as well about why strikes will never really work in MMA and why fighters are kind of infinitely replaceable. That was part of the clip in the intro. As well as Eugene saying it's an ethical quandary. And then there's a lot of talk about just like cops and how they should not be involved in any kind of most things in America, whether it's traffic stops or mental health calls, that kind of stuff. Because, again, that show's normally not MMA focused, but I just found their takes, like, exceptionally relevant to the last couple weeks, so... Yeah. Definitely recommend it. If the shoes fit, slow news day. It's cool hearing them talk about MMA again, because it doesn't happen very often, so... Nope. Always appreciate when they do. Let's see. Chris, did you listen to any new shows this week?
I did. Where's it at? Evolve Women's MMA Podcast.
Ooh, I have not heard of this.
Yeah, it's a podcast about the new generation of female MMA fighters and women's empowerment. Let me pull up the name of the host real quick.
Oh, wait, I have heard of
mention.
this. Yeah, pull that up, because I think I have heard
Shelley
of this.
Devine is the host.
Oh, shit. Shelley Devine used to fight, right?
Yeah.
Because she fought, I want to say, an Invicta or LFA or something.
Let me see if there's a write-up on here.
Here, I got her. You talk about the podcast episode. Dan Tom, I'm sure, is going to tell me in a second.
Yeah. Shelley Devine, great host. Solid production on the podcast. Miranda Maverick, female flyweight fighter in the UFC, was the guest. Shelley Devine was a great host. She brings a lot of fun energy. Just encourages a lot of just fun, engaging talk with the guests. Miranda Maverick is very excited. She is fighting Macy Barber soon-ish. I think it's coming up in the next month and a half or two. Maverick is currently working on her thesis towards getting her PhD. I can't remember in what. Something interesting. Something science related. I couldn't remember. She's also a very spiritual person. Talks about her good relationships with her father and her boyfriend. Boyfriend basically does like her meal preps for her and whatnot. She mentioned a documentary called, I think, After the Cage. I think she's briefly in that. It highlights the Michigan area of mixed martial arts coverage.
Yep.
AKA Matt Hughes and Farm Life. Miranda Maverick and her family are also farmers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Miranda Maverick's from Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Is Miranda Maverick the one that was she's military or something, right? Or like unless I'm conflating her with I'm trying to, because I remember some of the old Invicta promos on her way back in the day, but I don't remember off the top of my, like, I want to say her
I think it was her
husband or boyfriend or something.
I think it was one of her
family is member. Yeah, I remember her being military affiliated.
I think it was like most of her family and her dad's side were military, if I recall. I didn't write it down.
Like that. Yeah, because I've seen because I remember Invicta did some great promos on Miranda. I've been very high on Miranda Maverick since Invicta. She had a really good run, especially as of late.
Oh, she's looked great. She just had a really fucking good win against, what's her face? God damn it. Fuck, I should know this. There's a Brazilian fighter I think she just beat.
Yeah. She just got a win just recently.
Yeah, this is a solid podcast, good, honest discussion. I know she even touched on, she was asked, hey, what do you think about, just the entertainment aspect of the UFC? And I'm not going to call it pressure, but there is a definite medium and I guess common ground where some female fighters feel the need to just kind of showcase their beauty, whether it's risque photos, right, to get clicks, or some sort of followership, right, or following. She says she isn't one to do that, really post it, but she understands it is part of the game and it's just an entertainment industry, so she's not like, there's nothing, she's not against it at all. She doesn't really prioritize that at all. She prioritizes her training and her spirituality and her relationship with her boyfriend and her family, which is great, because
not everything's for all people kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
I followed, just multiple female mixed martial arts, and yes, some of them, man, it's just, all it is just posts of them just posing and this. It's like, where's the training? It's like, not that they don't do that, because, not every post on social media doesn't fucking, just dictate what you do in your everyday life, obviously, But it just kind of makes you think, though, too, is that what's prioritized, or are you training more? So, but then again, you can't really get that just from a post, Yep. So.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, I've always liked Miranda Maverick's take on stuff. Like, I've always enjoyed her interviews in Invicta and some of her recent fights. So, that podcast sounds dope. It reminds me a bit of, I think, is it Drake Riggs that does WMMA show too? I forget, because they're. I know he does. I just don't remember. I don't want to, because there's a couple different names, and I think it's this one, but I'm going to Google it before I say it out loud. I think it's this. Yes, it is WMMA Today. I wanted to Google it before I said it out loud, because there's a bunch of different shows, but he does WMMA Today here and there, and I know has done like Q&As. It might be I know he's done some of that stuff off and on. It's been a little bit since I've looked at the recent ones, so. But yeah. Oh, actually, he has an interview with Aaron Tuffhill about Kay Hansen that I may have checked later. Anyway, yeah, there's a couple good women's mixed martial arts podcasts, but I absolutely need to check out Evolve WMA. That sounds dope. That's what it is, right?
Yes, that's exactly so. Shelley Devine is the host. The production was solid on it. It's a fun listen. There's no really any pauses or delays or just I can't think of vocabulary right now. No lollygagging. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like filler, I guess. Like some where they just drag on. It's just straight to the point, and she's very engaging with the guests.
Chris, I don't understand filler in podcasts about MMA. I don't understand it. I've personally never created filler in an MMA podcast.
I think in our case it rhymes with beer.
Yeah, I think in our case it rhymes with almost every other word other than podcast. Yeah, 100%. Awesome, man. So I very quickly have a new show as well this week, which is Conduct Detrimental. This is a combat, or not a combat sports podcast. This is a sports podcast, a sports law podcast specifically. And oh shit, I did not write down the host names. Let me Google this real quick. It was season 2, episode 15. And the hosts are Dan Wallish and Dan Lust. No wonder I did not write that down, because I heard Dan once and then panicked. But this was a lot of fun. So this is their MMA episode where they specifically brought on Jason Cruz to talk about just kind of MMA in general, as well as all of the different more law-centric stuff that's happening in the sport. So everything from all the sports betting apps that are popping up to the antitrust suit. They talk about how long they've been waiting on Judge Boulware's decision in the antitrust suit, and how the hosts both seem pretty surprised at how long the case has been delayed and how much longer it may be delayed. I think Jason Cruz on this episode gave an estimate that maybe by 2025 we might have some kind of understanding about what's going on. So yeah, man, it's an interesting episode for sure. If you've heard some of the stuff that Jason Cruz has gone over, you've probably heard some of this in the past. But yeah, it was interesting hearing him talk with other lawyers, and especially sports lawyers, about kind of stuff like the pandemic actually not affecting MMA. They're like, so how did the pandemic affect MMA and kind of organization efforts and stuff like that? He's like, not at all. Didn't affect it at all. 0%. And they talk about stuff like Ariel's role in the sport and the potential ESPN contract negotiations and how that tangled that all is. They also talk a tiny bit about the Mark Hunt Lesnar suit that's still kind of lurking in the background. Right. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting to hear for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those shows that I bet you would like more than I would, because a lot of times they're talking MLB and NFL stuff like that. Yeah. But they're very much on the legal side of the sport, where it's specifically more on the the law side and the court dealings and that kind of thing. So
NFL, never heard of it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, 100%. Cool, man. Let's see. Do you have any honorable mentions? What we can crank through real quick since we've been going for a bit.
Yeah. Fuck. Where did it go? Honorable mentions. Severe MMA. Shawnee had a quick, brief discussion about the whole McGregor-Poirier thing. He said, is UFC Africa a real possibility? I mean, I hope so. That'd be cool, considering I know Francis and Mike Tyson brought up the point in their podcast that I think essentially, if you look at all the UFC roster, which is 550 fighters, something like that, I think Francis said only 20 of them are from Africa or have African roots.
Oh, slick.
Which is crazy. And the fact that only, say if it's 20 on the entire roster, 3 of them are champions, which says a lot about the dominance of just African MMA fighters.
Don't mind me. I'm just grabbing a beer and knocking over absolutely everything on my desk.
So I don't know if I can repeat real quick. There was a point that Francis made to Mike Tyson that out of like the 550 UFC fighters that are on the active roster, or somewhere around that number, I can't remember what it is exactly, only about 20 of them are from Africa or have like African roots, or like claim, and that 3 of them are champions, which is insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's because Shawnee Podcast was talking about, will we ever get a UFC Africa? I was just saying I hope so. That'd be dope. But knowing Dana, probably not.
Yeah. Well, I know they want to do it, but like pre-pandemic, it was a lot more likely than post-pandemic. Just because of just the logistics of making that happen at this point has got to be tough.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Mark Fellows, by the way, opened up an old school classic Maharaja, the Imperial IPA from Avery Brewing out in Colorado.
Nice. So there's that. And then I'll quickly mention Heavy Hands 364 was solid.
Yep.
Other than that, that's it for me. I have some well-rounded in a bit. Oh no, yeah.
Cool. I got a whole bunch to run through because I have been catching up. It was Heavy Hand 365?
364.
364. Let's see. So some honorable mentions for me. I'm going to run through these because they were all really good, but there's a bunch of them because we're going through 2 weeks of stuff. MMA Vivisection UFC Vegas 23 was really good.
Okay.
MMA Vivisection UFC Vegas 24 was even better. Super funny, and they talk about the Julian Marquez backlash on that one with Zane, and it's real good. Also, people don't listen to that show clearly because if they did, they would be so much more mad at Zane and Connor than they actually are on Twitter. Because they read like Zane's benign tweet on Twitter and not them calling fucking Julian Marquez someone who's soon going to learn how to make fire. So, I don't know. Listen to that show. It's very funny. It's a funny breakdown show. Speaking of funny breakdown shows, Protecting Neck episode 255 was very solid as well. So my notes say it's super funny. Also, speaking of Dan Tom, the Southpaw Pod, episode 91 with Sam, who's the host of that. Dan Tom guested. They talked a lot about like kind of Dan getting into not only combat sports, or not combat sports, but martial arts in general, as well as analysis. Like it's a lot about his analysis and kind of how he got into that. But there's also a lot of good talk about Dan coming up in the straight edge punk scene in Vegas and going to shows with like racist skinheads and sharps and all that shit, which you can tell why me and Dan Tom get along because evidently very different upbringings, but very similar upbringings kind of thing. So I fucks with it. Yeah, it's if you guys don't know much about Dan Tom's history, it's a great starting point on that. And also, I'm just a big Sam fan. Like, I think Sam's tight, and I wish I was left-handed because I would get a double lefty shirt. But I made out. Yeah, fighting Nazis, baby, as Dan Tom says in chat. Well, I fucks with it, bro. Fucking all day, bro. So yeah. Also, Dan Tom. I don't know if you noticed, but. Who the fuck was it? Somebody in a recent main event. Dan Tom talked about habitual clock checkers in that episode. And somebody in a main event was checking the clock so bad. I want to say... Oh, you know who it was? It was fucking Nemkov against Phil Davis. That motherfucker checked the clock for the last 2 rounds for like the last, I would say, 7 minutes of that fight every minute. Which I thought was really interesting. So, yeah.
See, I would tell you how that fight went, but I go to the Jack Slack school of Bellator haters.
You sure do. Yeah, you are not all in on Coker. You're all out on Coker, as far as I can tell.
I am all out of Coke.
That too. Well, that's because Oscar De La Hoya did it all before he went on the Triller card. I heard.
That bastard.
I also don't believe that Claremont's all out of Coke. I'm going to go ahead and put that out on there on the record. I'm pretty sure I could walk to a bar near where you're at and get some if I really wanted to. All right.
Again, that's the rumor.
Tis the rumor. All right, anyway. Also, yes, Dan Thompson in chat, Sam is the man. Sam is the man. And that is why I also recommend people check out the Best Camp of My Life, episode 25, with Sam from the Southpaw podcast. Super solid. He talks about getting into martial arts, kind of his path, and how he, for a while, or he quit his job basically to travel and learn martial arts. A lot of interesting discussion about the Korean War and like his family's history, and like how people don't talk about like, oh, there's a lot of South Koreans who fled from bombings during the Korean War, but no one talks about how only one country during that war was bombing people, and it was not North Korea. Which I thought was a fucked up but prevalent kind of, or prescient rather, kind of take. Also, he talks a lot about Q conspiracies in MMA, and how a decent amount of that actually came from Muay Thai practitioners, which I thought was interesting. And yeah, he just talks a bit about, just kind of his politics and dealing with gyms, and Rose's statements about Weili. He also had some great takes on that as well. And yeah, man, I absolutely recommend it. You all know we love Fernando Pracha's podcast, and this is a great episode of it. Show Money, episode 39. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that John Nash has gone over in this episode, so that's why it's not necessarily a catch for me, but business and MMA, as far as I'm concerned, it's that show and Fight Business podcast all motherfucking day. And yeah, Show Money is absolutely killing it, as always. They talk Trust Suit, they talk John's UFC negotiations, and they talk One's rough ratings, as well as a little bit of Bellator. Chasing Pack, April 6th for 2021. Sean and Ian O'Neill are hosting, and I just like this show. They talk Gordon Ryan signing with One, and Ian O'Neill, for some reason, thinking that Gordon Ryan's going to fight MMA when he's just going to do grappling in One. But they also talk about Brave FC, and they even bring up the sports washing vibes, which I appreciate a lot, because Brave FC kind of does not get enough shit for how they are clearly sports watching a dictator. I appreciate that they bring that up. They also talk about the Irish involvement both in Brave and the Bellator Euro Series, and how the Euro Series is looking dead. And then if you guys, I highly recommend listening to this for Sean's takes on the Virgin Media deal that Bellator did in Ireland, and how fucked it is in actuality. And how unhelpful Bellator PR seems to be in regards to all this shit.
Yo, isn't the Virgin Media deal the deal where it's like you can only have, it's not even on TV or cable, it's like a fucking streaming thing, or like kind of like is it like a DAZN setup or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna misquote it. You should really listen to the episode.
Shawnee was talking about that.
It depends on where you're at. Yeah, that's the problem. Is like with all fucking cable deals, it's like location based and fucking finicky, and like, are you in this area that has this kind of option? If you are, then you can. If you're not, then you can't. Like, it's all that kind of bullshit, just like Spectrum or fucking Cox or any of those other cocksuckers. Fuck ISPs. ISPs can eat a dick. Fucking Jesus.
This podcast episode brought to you by my ISP.
Yeah. Who can fucking eat all my balls? Jesus, ISPs are the worst. As someone with a degree in computer networking, ISPs are the worst. Which Severe MMA episode did you talk about? 307?
This was the one. Well, you just talked about the Virgin Media.
No, but the Severe MMA 307 or 308 that you listened to.
Oh. I
think it's at 307 because I think that's the one I have notes on.
I think it's 307.
Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. Level Change podcast episode 119 was really solid. RIP DMX. And yeah, it's a really, really good episode. I love that show. The Fight Site podcast episode 44. Iggy actually subbed in for Ed.
You don't mind? I'll be right back. Someone is at my front door.
Go for it. The Fight Site MMA podcast episode 44. Iggy subbed in for Ed, who is out from the vaccine, and that was a really solid one. Iggy has a little bit of that vibe that I do, or that a couple people could do. Like Kyle does this as well, where like if you go on a show, you a little bit ruin the format of the show just because you're like your personality kind of just forces a weird direction on the show, and to be honest, all my favorite podcast hosts do that. But I absolutely, it made it a lot of fun, and it definitely felt equally mellow, but like a little bit. It definitely had new vibes on the Fight Site with Iggy instead of Ed. Also, Chris will love to hear this one. Coast to Coast Combat Hour for April 6th had Tavon Anthony, aka Axis, however how do you pronounce that dude's name? The dude who does the rap predictions?
Oh, yeah, I've seen those guys' videos. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, so he was on the Coast to Coast Combat Hour with Matt Hawkins and Ed Carvajal, and he talks kind of about how he got into doing it and how he does prediction raps, kind of his process for all that stuff. And they also previewed the Bellator card. Super solid episode. Highly recommend it. Oh, Sean Sheehan, very excited in chat that you listen to a Patreon podcast. Actually, rumors are Chris might be listening to more Patreon podcasts in the future, I've heard.
That's the rumor.
How many times are you going to say that this episode?
No, dude, you know how much I love Tombstone.
I know, it's real good. And then I forget what rap song I keep quoting with the "'Tis the rumor." I'm going to have to look that up on the break anyway.
Well, actually, sounds kind of familiar.
It's very stuck in my head, and I can't remember why. Where's fucking... Oh, wait, is it 2 buckets of blood, girl? 2 buckets of blood. It might be buckets of blood by Gravediggers. 'Tis the rumor. I think it might be. I'll look it up on the break, but I think it is. If it is, I'll might play it on the break or something. We'll see.
Yeah, see, by the way, in full context of the Tombstone scene, if you remember, when Johnny Ringo meets a very drunk Doc Holliday, he's, "I hear you the fastest gun there is, Doc." That's the rumor.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I tried to quickly pull up 2 buckets
Oh,
or
no,
two cups of blood. That's what it is. It's 2 cups of. If this isn't it, then that's gonna suck. Oh my god, okay, I'm not going to do this right now. This is a bad thing to try and do on air. Come On Now podcast was the last 2 recommendations I have. Episode 264 and 265, very solid, highly recommend them. Trent Ryan-Smith talks about Cater still not being back to training and the fact that his teammates...
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but what he argues in this episode, which I totally agree with, is if you're his teammates, do not phrase it like you're babying him. Because that's what they kept doing in episodes. They're like, we're babying him right now, you know, so he just, it's like, dude, don't.
You don't even need to phrase that. Just say if he's not healthy yet. That's all you gotta say. There's nothing wrong with that. The dude's in recovery. I mean, he got fucking bludgeoned.
Later, Shawnee podcast. Yeah, no, it's frustrating.
I think, does it really bring up more of that point that they should have thrown in the towel?
Yes, that's why they're keeping him off the fucking mats for so long.
Exactly. Yeah. Hell, didn't Diaz's corner do that when he lost to Josh Thompson? There's a towel thrown. Right? That dude takes damage.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, Nick threw in the towel for Nate, in the Josh Thompson
fight.
After he ate fucking a head kick and a barrage.
Like, there's no shame in that. People need to realize that. Like, even in boxing, look at when Tyson Fury absolutely dominated Deontay Wilder. His corner's like, well, no, we don't want to see you get your ass beat. This is it.
Yeah, also, like, it helps that, like, the fighter can then learn from that lesson, grow, and not have to fucking deal with head trauma immediately and forever. So, yeah. Frustrating. Yeah, Iggy saying in chat, yeah, this guy ate like 5,000 strikes to the head. He's a little baby, you know? It's like, fucking Jesus, bro. Not the way to go about it. All right, Chris, before we get out of here and get to the second segment where we talk about fights that nobody cares about, do you have any well-rounded stuff for this week that's not MMA related, other than MLB The Show?
I was totally going to cut you off and say, second segment.
Yeah. MLB The Show 21, I know, is 100% on this list.
Oh,
including the backyard baseball mod.
That's it. Yeah, that game came out. It's very fun, and I can't wait until the game comes out at midnight. So then I will shit on all the Xbox people because they haven't played. Well, the only way they play that game is if they had a PlayStation, like a smart person. Regardless,
you're just mad that they can play it, bro. Don't be lying.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not really that good at the game.
No, I know. I'm fucking with you.
I'm just talking shit.
I know. But, dude, you switched to PlayStation to play MLB The Show, and then they did get an Xbox, though, right?
No, I switched to PlayStation to continue God of War series. In all fairness. And The Last of Us. Those are the two main.
And because Xbox,
MLB
everything...
The Show was an extra perk.
Xbox exclusives are not popping right now.
Yeah, see, the thing is, the Bethesda thing, if that holds true, that some of those will be exclusives, then good for them. That's great. That's a great deal.
Yeah, but by then, the consoles are affordable, or you can just buy a PC.
Like a smart person. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Real Well-Rounded, I listened to the Behind the Bastards of
Dude!
So I listened to the one where it was
let me guess
the start of conspiracy theories or
yes,
some shit.
so it is
So,
about...
like, the anti-Semitic stuff. That shit was wild as fuck.
So this episode is named, because I want to be very specific about this, because people should... It's very important that people listen to this. If people do... A lot of people don't understand why so many Q conspiracies and all these conspiracies, eventually, if you talk to these people long enough or listen to them long enough, you start hearing like, oh, the Zionists, oh, the globalists, oh, and then if they talk long enough, you start to hear names, which are all Jewish names, and then if they keep talking long enough, they just start saying Jews. And all of this comes back to the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is basically the Nazi thing that started all of the Nazi things. This was a book that was created in, I don't remember when, 1800s, I want to say?
Yeah,
Something
the name
like
of this,
that.
the one. So I only listened to part one, to be fair.
So
maybe
I'll just
that's
say,
probably...
well, and I know a lot about this, mostly from Knowledge Fight, which is going to come up right after this, but the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is essentially a book. It's a Nazi book that came out like before World War II, way before. This is something that Hitler was like clearly read and like he talked about his feelings on it. And even a lot of Nazis said that like, it's not actually true, but they're not wrong. Wherein it is essentially a book that was written allegedly. It's all fake, but it's allegedly written about it's meeting minutes for a global Jewish cabal who's trying to take over the world. So it's like they wrote down their meeting minutes about the Jews trying to take over the world. And so
yeah, I remember I always remember, and this has been a thing even before the comedian said it. I remember David Cross, who was born and raised Jewish, has Jewish blood. He doesn't identify as a Jewish man.
Well, he's just not religious, yeah.
Yeah, he's not religious. That's cool. I'm not religious either. My point is, he had a bit where since he grew up in Atlanta, which is an extremely ignorant city.
I heard it's also where the players play.
Where the what?
Where the players play?
Oh, God damn it. But
kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah, he might as well. I just remember David Cross was like, yeah, he talked about like his racist neighbor growing up, saying like, oh, is it true that y'all's have, a bunch of Jew bankers that live under in the Earth's core? And I remember Robert Evans talking about, like, well, the only jobs that the government would allow Jewish folks to get were banking jobs, money jobs, hence
money
the
lending,
racist
basically.
Stereotypes. Yeah, money lending,
And then they...
Also the Chinese people as well, too, because I remember Dan Tom discussed it as well, too.
Yep. Yeah, it's basically minorities were forced into money lending jobs in a lot of situations, and especially with the Jewish conspiracy, like, and the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, if you ever hear anyone start to use the word Zionist as a dig, that is a red motherfucking flag, my guy. Like,
I see it too often on Reddit, on Twitter, just two toxic places.
Like, globalist is the Alex Jones version of Zionist, but like like Sam Tripoli, any of these dudes, if you or any of the Q stuff, if you listen to any of these people talk for more than like 20 or 30 minutes, it eventually turns into like just, if they don't say the Jew world order, they imply the Jew world order and that kind of shit, and it's so wild.
By the way,
wild.
Shouts out to one of the guests. He's an actor. He also does a podcast. I apologize for I can't remember the podcast that he does, but his name is Langston Kerman. And if you watch the very popular and successful series on Amazon called The Boys, based on the very, very controversial comic series by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon, Langston Kerman plays a character called Eagle the Archer. I have read the comics. I have seen the show. He does a fantastic job. He was fantastic on this podcast. So shouts out to Langston Kerman. I loved what he had to say with his insight. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's dope as hell.
Yeah, and Robert is clearly very good at just basically who he wants to talk with.
Yeah,
He's
no. Well, and he brings the right guests on for all those things too, and like, it's just so good. That show is so good. And Dan Tom right now just dropped in chat asking if I know about the song "Jane is a Nazi" from Sloppy Seconds. Not only do I love the band Sloppy Seconds, who I've not thought about in a decade.
I see. I know that name. I just
I just right now on YouTube found a 2010 version of Jane is a Nazi being played live at a pub in Pittsburgh. There's a fat dude with his shirt off on the cover of it, and we're gonna listen to that in the break. Because I have not heard the song in fucking probably a decade. So that'll be a lot of fun. Sloppy Seconds is a very fun old school punk band. Dan Tom, for a sober dude, you sure know a lot of drunk punk bands. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, absolutely. That's Behind the Bastards is awesome, and I'm excited for this break now. Let's see. So other than that, I got Knowledge Fight episode 549 and 550 were very, very good. Dan Tom, you're totally right. Perfect for Rose Fight Week. Oh boy. Oh no. Yeah, Knowledge Fight episode 549 and 550. If you guys do not know what Knowledge Fight is, you really need to listen to it. I feel like the world needs to listen to it. The New York Times did an article about it this week. I don't know if you saw that, Chris.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
The New York Times did an article about Knowledge Fight this week. This is the Alex Jones podcast I keep talking about every week.
Okay, so I know you mentioned that. So is that what that? I know you keep mentioning Knowledge Fight. That's an Alex Jones thing.
They're auditing Alex Jones week to week.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. They're auditing his dumbass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every week they basically Dan and Jordan pull clips, or Dan pulls clips, and Jordan sits around and screams about how terrible Alex Jones is while they drink novelty beverages. It's the best. It's horrific. It's very upsetting.
I see the New York Times article right now.
Yeah, the New York Times article is very good, and it's a perfect entry point. Also on their website, if you go to knowledgefight.com, they do have like a perfect intro episode that they suggest listening to. I would also recommend listening to the Behind the Bastards episodes about Alex Jones, which they were on. Those are great entry points as to how much of a fucking... I don't know that I can call Alex Jones a Nazi. I can definitely call him a white supremacist. He's definitely a white supremacist. Nazi is like not accurate enough. He's like a bigoted white supremacist who's losing his fucking mind.
I just consider him just a dumb racist.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, he's
a dumb racist.
But he's like way more fucking diabolical than that because he's selling fucking colloidal silver toothpaste to fucking inbred people for way too much money.
What the
shit.
Fuck? I've seen colloidal silver. What is that shit? I've seen it Sprouts.
It's silver in a mixture. It does nothing.
That's what I thought, right?
You could also buy colloidal iodine from him, which will poison you slowly. It's just a small enough amount, and it won't actually poison you. Yeah. It does nothing, Chris. Have you ever seen Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop? It's a lot like that, but like mildly less hurtful. It's just all fucking hippie bullshit that doesn't work, and they're 100% scamming people. It's why Alex Jones works for a gold company, was for a long time sponsored by a gold company, and was constantly trying to sell like fucking gold bars and shit. It's very upsetting. So I highly recommend listening to it because it's wildly eye-opening, and you'll see a lot of people on Twitter being like, Alex Jones was right. They're turning the frogs gay. Or like, Alex Jones was right. They're trying to clone monkeys with people. And you actually read that article, they're like, well, first off, no, that's not at all what happened. They injected, like, I forget what it was, but they essentially, like, tissue lived in an animal for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
kind of thing. They're trying to make human monkey hybrids so they can take over the world, and the Zionists, the globalists are trying to come for they want to eat your babies. It's all part of Hillary Clinton's baby blood drinking
that's
conspiracy.
What they mean. Like when people say the Zionists, are they just being?
Oh, it means Jews. Yes, it means
right,
Jews.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It always means Jews.
So this whole time I thought. I knew that's what they're talking about. Like, are they just trying to just blame it on Jewish people when they say the Zionists?
Well, and if you say that, they'll say no, not all Jewish people. There are certain Jewish people who are Zionists that are the upper tier, who are part of the globalist conspiracy. Like, they just codify all that shit in like, no, I don't mean those Jewish people. I mean those Jewish people. Which is
just the rich Jews.
Also, by the way, same thing Hitler did, and same thing Henry Ford did. So it's there's a long history of all this, and that's why you should probably.
Disney. Just kidding. I just want to throw that.
Oh no! Don't get my "They're turning the frogs" gay drop. Oh man, Dan Tom. Eventually, me and Dan Tom are gonna have fucking soundboard wars between our podcasts. I'm pretty sure of just both of us saying horrific things. Man. Or maybe we should just have soundboard wars of Paul Bryan saying horrible things. I'm pretty sure I have him saying very bad things about a Hedwig and the Angry Inch somewhere. Let's see. By the way, that's the movie I should have tweeted. It shouldn't have been Barfly. It should have been Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Fuck, I love that movie. And nobody talks about that movie because it's about a transsexual person, and I don't even, that's definitely not the right phrase, but like at the time I think it might have been the right phrase because anyway, Hedwig and the Angry Inch is so good. Go watch that movie if you've not. Oh my god, I just remembered that. Anyway, other honorable mentions, Billy Wayne Davis, who's been on Behind the Bastards a bunch, has a podcast called Grown Local, which is all about weed in certain areas of the country. Like he did one season I believe he did one season in Humboldt, and I believe he did one season in Colorado. If I remember right.
I hope you don't mind, dude. I gotta piss my fucking pants. I will be right back. I apologize.
I'll go for it, dude. We're about to wrap this.
It's like terrible timing.
You're good. We're about to wrap this in a second anyway, so go for it. Yeah, Dan Tom saying in chat, Phil Ball's really leaned into it. 100%, dude. Yeah, it's gonna be. I love the film ball, but I got mixed feelings about the film ball almost every week, all because of one of those two, and you know which one. Let's see. Oh, so I got a bunch of weed references because it is 419, and I've been smoking hella weeds during this episode. I don't know if you noticed. Twitch.tv/highest host is my buddy Adam Macadocious, aka Adam Ill. And he is maybe the highest person I know. He might also be just the funnest stoner to hang out with. He goes live on Twitch all the time. You guys, if you've ever seen any cannabis content at any event in California, you've seen him in the background, like repping the Star of David and fucking smoking mad joints. He's the best. I love me some Adam Macadocious. Yeah, I've known that dude. I used to intern on his show way back in the day on the podcast with Adam Macadocious and Manny Blunts. But yeah, I absolutely recommend checking out that dude's streams. If you want to watch some fun stoner content tomorrow, twitch.tv/highest host will be it. Also, some YouTube shoutouts of just like stoners I listen to or I watch their content of because I think they're fucking very entertaining. Simple Sick, SMPLSCK on YouTube. Asian dude up in the Bay Area, I believe Modesto, and he mostly does a lot of reviews and just like videos where he's hanging out with his buddies smoking. Just super entertaining dude, super nice guy to interact with. He's always been very cool. I actually found him because he did a trip down to San Diego where he reviewed some stuff, and yeah, I always enjoy his shit. Smoking with Small Town is another guy. Smoking with Small Town does a lot of very good, like if you're in California, you want like weed reviews and of stuff that you can find at a lot of shops down here. Definitely check out his stuff. Same with Red Bench Reviews, which is a super old hippie. Dude's got to be like, he's got to be 60, and he's got dreads. I think he lives out in the desert of California. And he just has this red, like one of those old school wooden park benches that's red in his like, I don't know, dining room or whatever. And he just sits there and is just the oldest man hippie about it. And he just reviews fucking mid-grade strains where he's just like, oh, wow, this is so energetic. Oh, this is going to get me lit.
So, I just jumped in here. So is this someone they don't smoke a lot of weed and they start smoking a lot of crazy weed?
This is an old hippie who does weed reviews on YouTube. And
that sounds great.
Yeah, his name's Red Bench Reviews, and he reviews mid-grade weed. And like he does some high-end stuff, but most of the stuff he gets is like just the mid-grade stuff. It's like 35 and eighth, and he'll just like try it out and be like, "Oh, this high's got my mind racing. This weed's got an engine on it." Is that kind of stuff?
Can he smoke like anything, or does he get like anxiety?
No, I mean, he's the calmest person you'll ever hear.
Well, then, see, that's the kind of person you need, then,
dude. He's
to review weed.
Yeah, he's the best. He's just like, oh wow, that's very like this. Oh, it smells. I love GMO, garlic, mushrooms, and onion. Like he's very calming, dude. It's the best. Yeah, I highly recommend Red Bench Reviews if you want some calm ones. If you want like a dude in his 20s shotgunning beers, smoking with Small Town is your guy, that dude will just shotgun a beer on the regular during his reviews. 2 for the review. And then Simply Sick is like mostly doing product reviews or like strain reviews or kicking it with homies. The podcast is the old show. If you guys want to hear me referenced in a show, I bet you somewhere on the internet you can find the podcast, and you can hear the intern Genghis Khan get referenced. That would be me. So if you guys want some old school throwback weed content where dudes were doing hot dabs off of fucking titanium nails back in like 07 or whatever, and fucking dying, coughing, and drooling and shit. That would be a fun one. Also, Marijuana Radio, which Dan Tom actually listened to back in the day, which blows my mind. Also, if you guys have heard Sam Talent, who is a comedian, he also talked a bit about Marijuana Radio. So, and he was a guest on that a couple times. He's also been on Stanhope's podcast. I wrote a great book recently. And then Dr. Green Thumb, Be Real, is pretty solid as well. So, Chris, I think that wraps this segment. We're going to come back, and honestly, I have a couple fights I want to talk about, but not a ton.
Well, if I'm honest, I don't want to talk about shit, but,
you watched Bobby Knuckles, right?
Oh, yeah, that was a great fight.
That's what I mean. Like, we'll talk a little Bobby Knuckles. Okay. We'll talk a little... there's a couple Bellator fights that are pretty good. Yeah.
I saw... So, spoiler alert.
Also, Chris, I gotta come back and smoke this pancake ice anyway.
I'll say this. I only watched one Bellator fight, and this fighter has a very good left hook.
Yeah, he does. And holy shit, that was a fight, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the ones I want to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, shouts out to my friend Jake. I wasn't watching Bellator. I think I was at work. He said, hey, watch this fight right now. And I was able to like step away for a second and find it. And it was worth it.
Holy shit, was it? Yeah, that fight went... That was a wild round and a half. That may be the craziest first-round fighter of all time.
That, and of course, he was also in another crazy first-round fight of all time against a certain Diaz
craziest
brother.
One, yeah. So we will talk about all that when we come back. And in the meantime, you guys can listen to this clip of... Well, for a little bit, it's going to be a clip of our break, which is the clip of Matt, Sarah, and GSP being BFFs. And then the second part is going to be a whole bunch of sloppy seconds. So we'll be right back, and then we will talk a little bit of fights after that. So till then, everybody, go grab a beer.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The one after the episode 7, 8, 9. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars.
Oh, what? Dude, come on, man. George, we should have been hanging out this whole time. Who cares?
Really?
We kicked each other's asses. Who cares? This is great. I got somebody I can talk to about now with comic books and Star Wars. Do you watch The Mandalorian?
I watch it all, my friend. I know everything you can know about Star Wars. I know Star Wars very well.
I don't want to take it too far, and I don't want anybody to lose respect for me. Like sometimes, listen? I'm not gonna say cartoon. Do you ever watch some of the animated Clone Wars and Rebels?
I watch it all. I watch it all.
Oh, gee.
There's one coming out in May 4th, The Bad Batch. I'm gonna watch it.
Dude, come on. Listen, I know I'm a
Man,
grown
I
man.
can't believe it. We fought each other. I can't believe we should have hang out and be best friends.
100%.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The one after the episode 7, 8, 9. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars.
Oh, what? Dude, come on, man. George, we should have been hanging out this whole time. Who cares?
Really?
We kicked each other's asses. Who cares? This is great. I got somebody I can talk to about now with comic books and Star Wars. Do you watch The Mandalorian?
I watch it all, my friend. I know everything you can know about Star Wars. I know Star Wars very well.
I don't want to take it too far, and I don't want anybody to lose respect for me. Like sometimes, listen? I'm not gonna say cartoon. Do you ever watch some of the animated Clone Wars and Rebels?
I watch it all. I watch it all.
Oh, gee.
There's one coming out in May 4th, The Bad Batch. I'm gonna watch it.
Dude, come on. Listen, I know I'm a
Man,
grown
I
man.
can't believe it. We fought each other. I can't believe we should have hang out and be best friends.
100%.
Liked by the sound of violence.
The one after the episode 7, 8, 9. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars.
Oh, what? Dude, come on, man. George, we should have been hanging out this whole time. Who cares?
Really?
We kicked each other's asses. Who cares? This is great. I got somebody I can talk to about now with comic books and Star Wars. Do you watch The Mandalorian?
I watch it all, my friend. I know everything you can know about Star Wars. I know Star Wars very well.
I don't want to take it too far, and I don't want anybody to lose respect for me. Like sometimes, listen? I'm not gonna say cartoon. Do you ever watch some of the animated Clone Wars and Rebels?
I watch it all.
Oh,
There's one coming out in May 4th, The Bad Batch. I'm gonna watch it.
Dude, come on, listen. I know I'm a
Man,
grown
I can't believe it. We fought each other. I can't believe we should have hang out and be best friends.
100%.
I don't have Zabir on me, so you're good. All right, everyone, we're back.
Yeah, we are. You guys might even hear Chris say he doesn't have a new beer to crack on that intro.
Yeah,
Actually, 100% you did.
We are going to
So we
quickly...
changed it up a little bit.
You will help me recap a couple of fights. Well, to be fair, spoiler, I only saw the main event, Bobby Knuckles versus Kelvin Gastelum, because I was at work all day, because that's the new normal for me. I pretty much work every day. It's fun because we're not hiring a third person at the moment, but it is what it is,
Shouts to working in breweries in 2021, huh?
Yeah, and then I get boomers yelling at me. It's great.
Oh, I can't imagine boomers yelling at people.
What do you mean you don't do flights? Well, asshole, we have compostable cups, and technically, if your dirty mouth took a sip, I'd have to throw it away each time, and we don't want to have to.
To be fair, I do feel his pain. Also, shouts
I do.
That's the Charlotte in the background. I don't know
Oh no, I
did.
I totally get it. It's annoying having
Yeah. No, I fucking hear you. So on the break, you guys heard not only the sloppy second song that Dan mentioned, Jane's a Nazi, which I totally forgot about, but you also heard the other song on that same cassette tape I owned when I was in middle school, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. Maybe it might have been a CD. But it was I'm So Fucked Up or Fucked Up or something like that. I think it's I'm So Fucked Up.
So fucked up.
So Fucked Up. Thank you. That's the name of it. Yeah, it's I love that song. One of the first songs I got legit hammered to is that song. Taking shots of Jack and Skankin in my backyard, if I remember right, because it was fucking 2005, and that's what you did when you drinking or whatever it was.
It happened?
Oh god, it was way earlier in 2005. Now that I think about it, it was at least 03 or 04, and maybe earlier than that, which would have made me about 13 or 14. I'm now doing the math on, like you do. The best age to be drinking and skanking, but. Oh, Mark Fellow is saying that he's hyped that you work in a brewery.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. He literally also says that'd be a perfect job if there was no customers.
All I'll say is that I definitely drink on the job, but in a smart way.
As it's allowed, yeah.
Yeah, in a smart way. I don't show it. It's just like, hold on, sir, I'll be right back. Keep it in the next room. Hi, how can I help you?
Yeah, well, and plus, your guys' brewery has a couple beers that are quite sessionable, if I do say so myself. Charlotte, you want to come say hi to the people? Come here, Bibbis. Come here, Bibbis. Here, we're going to do an Iggy. Since Iggy showed up in the chat. Oh, you hate this. You don't trust me at all, do you? Come say hi to the peoples. This is Charlotte. Aww. She's very cute. She's a big old chonkers. She's literally she's giant. I know, you hate it. Don't worry, I'm gonna let you out the room, but since I have to go open the door, you have to at least say hi to the people, okay? I know you hate the fan. Okay. Well, I go let her out the room. Chris, you want to start talking about this Bellator 257 card that you didn't see?
Yeah, so the one fight I did see actually was God damn it. Let me look up his name. As he's doing that. I saw the fight between Paul Semtex Daly versus Sabah Hamasi.
Dude, which was the fight to watch if you're going to watch one on this card, huh?
And if I recall correctly, was Sabah Hamasi the same gentleman who was on the Ultimate Fighter 21 Black Zillions versus American Top Team? He's in American Top Team, right?
I believe so.
Okay, I knew I recognized that name. Okay. Yeah, this fight was hectic as all hell.
Yeah, it was wild as shit, dude.
Hectic as all heck.
He blasted Daly super bad with he clipped him behind the ear, if I remember right. I think I got some notes, but yeah, he clipped him behind the ear and then was chasing him down with wild ass shots and folded him a couple times. Daly somehow survived and got to guard and then just hung on for a while and then eventually worked his way back. And you could clearly see Sabah Hamasi gassing hard at the last minute or two. Dude, some of those elbows that he got hit with, that Daly got hit with though, were fucking brutal. Like, I'm amazed that dude didn't get cut because they were super nasty. But yeah, well, like you were talking about, Gas came back, and then Hamasi started smashing with knees, and Daly, I believe in the second, caught a kick and followed it with a left hook, which can't let Daly do that to you.
That left hook special from Paul Daly.
That left there, Larry.
Left hook Larry. Yeah, the aka the Michael Bisping special as well too.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. That's the only one I saw.
Before we get on to other Bellator things, I should very quickly pack a bowl of this pancake ice, which I did smoke a bowl of on the break. I'm sorry, people. I did do it. It's super. Actually, it is gassier when you start breaking it up than I originally gave credit for. Also, sticky as shit. And this thing, Chris, what was what I said it sounded like when I hit it earlier? Do you remember?
You said it smelled like pancakes?
I believe, yeah. Smelled like pancakes, tastes like funnel cakes was the is the phrase that I came up with.
That's a pretty good combo,
dude. It's not bad. It's first off super strong. It's at 30% sativa, which is why I'm so racy sounding right now. I'm assuming. So I can feel myself sounding a little manic from it. But it's super fire, dude.
Would you call it a manic Monday?
Yeah, just another.
I had to do it.
That's why I was going to just hit a bowl and make you sit out and think about that decision.
So, by the way, besides the Paul Daly impressive victory, were there any other things of note besides Raymond Daniels beating up another can?
I mean, is that of note?
It's not. That's just rhetorical. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I didn't have much else about that card. I mean, Vitaly. My notes
Vadim?
are all. Yeah, I know. I did it again, didn't I?
Not every Russian's named Vitaly.
Dude, my notes are so fucked right now. I don't know what happened. My notes are so fucked. But yeah, Vadim Nemkov looked really good against Phil Davis for 3 rounds, and then started really checking the clock and looking not as into that fight. Davis actually, I think, won the 3rd, but still dropped the 4th and 5th just off of lack of volume, which is frustrating to watch. But, you know, to be fair, Vadim Nemkov is a bad motherfucker. Corey Anderson absolutely killed a man from ground and pound.
I saw the highlight of that.
Dude.
That was something.
Corey Anderson figured out about 4 minutes into the first round that if he gets dude down, he could just immediately moved him out. And then started smashing him. Did it again in the second, and he put a beating on dude.
He gave him the old Johnson & Johnson.
Sure. Yeah.
So I just had to say, just because I recall just the Twitter feed with all that whole thing, and I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah, I believe these motherfuckers in Jersey who are all anti-vax are all the same fucking people who are super concerned about fucking Lyme disease. It drives me absolutely nuts. Because if there was a Lyme disease vaccine, all these motherfuckers would take a Lyme disease vaccine. But there isn't one, so they can whine about the fucking COVID vaccine. It's bullshit. Fucking Jim Miller, shut up. If there was a fucking Lyme disease vaccine, you would have taken it.
Yeah, in his case, it's extremely
exactly
poignant.
Well, and all these people know each other. Like I've heard all of you talk about how scared you are of Lyme disease. The fuck are we doing?
I think they're more afraid of the Jersey Devil than they are of Lyme disease at this point.
Or Satan and the fucking globalists. Because if I remember right, a couple of those motherfuckers had Q patches at one point, so I'm not saying any of the specific ones of them because I don't want to say that because I'm not positive.
Certain cut men, but yeah.
I mean, or entire camps, yeah. Anyway, speaking of why MMA is not morally reprehensible, so we are also going to preview a little bit of 261. I don't know if we ever actually said that.
Let's go. Let's just do that now,
dude. Well, the only thing I have to say, Jessica Penne got a win. So shouts to Jessica Penne.
Shouts out to her. Shouts out to her camp.
You guys know we are Alliance homers. That shit is just fucking undeniable. Also, Chris, I'm glad you did not get head trauma going to Alliance because evidently
No, I got leg trauma. That was fun. I got clipped in the face a couple of times.
Did
but
you?
I remember I
Did Chris Stanley fuck you up? Let's be honest.
No, I didn't fight her. I fought a dude who was. It was funny. They're like, "Hey, find a partner." I'm 5'6" and about 150 something, soaking wet.
Dude, yeah,
So
barely. Yeah.
I swear to God, the person they paired up with me, I'm not even kidding, probably about 5'11", 6 foot. I swear to God.
So
like, all right,
yeah,
hit pads
a
with
little
this guy.
bigger than
And
me.
he was like hitting me. He's like, I'm not gonna hit you that hard. I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, I don't. You've done this way longer than me. Do what the fuck you want. And of course, he kicks me really fucking hard. I remember, like, I checked one leg kick. I'm like, dude, this dude can just jab me from like a mile away because he's so much. It was just like dumb.
Also,
like, what am I supposed to do? Dart in like Tyson and give you the uppercut when it's just like what am I doing? You know what I mean? Though it's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
When it's not a real sparring partner. So I just remember he just kept tagging you at the jab. I'm like, okay, I got my guard up, bro.
Yeah.
Let me not be able to reach you. You know, it's like, what are we doing?
well,
Like,
that and you also were there on a fucking journalism assignment, basically taking a class.
yeah,
right?
they're like, hey man, we'll give you a 2-week free course. Don't worry, it was fun. I
Yeah,
went to the
yeah.
other classes.
Well,
when
Chris
I
Stanley
was
was cool as shit and all that
Oh,
stuff.
she was
yeah.
awesome. Kat Zingano was cool. I remember Eric Del Ferro was cool.
Yeah.
Everyone there was fucking cool. I briefly met Phil Davis, who was like working out constantly. They all were.
Shouts out to shouts out to Three Punk Ales out in Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Who has a Phil Davis beer.
Luckily, I did not get shoved and get whiplashed by Jeremy Stevens. I had to just throw it out there. That
Dude,
did not happen.
to be fair, anyone who has trained over at anyone who's trained over at Alliance says Alliance, you don't really there's not a lot of light sparring happening at Alliance. People are just banging it out.
Yeah, I saw it. That's such a fucking punk ass move. Like, what are we doing, dude?
Well, it depends. Like some people, like in certain, like sometimes there can be some rough sparring, but
by the way you're from, where you grew up, I get it. You can't be in someone's face. I totally understand.
But I've
that.
heard from certain podcasters who we may or may not have mentioned in this episode, who may not be around, that I heard Jeremy Stevens does not spar. Jeremy Stevens fights in the gym. That kind of stuff. So, and I've heard that Dominic Cruz also does not really spar. He just fights in the gym. So, to be fair though, I also heard a lot of Alliance's early injuries, which I will shout out as a totally separate story, not related to this last one. I will shout out that Dan Tom said on a previous episode of his podcast that Alliance, when they were in the smaller location, which I think was the one you were at, right?
So the one I was at was right before they moved.
Yeah. So how wet were those mats? How slippery were the mats?
It looked kind of fucking gross.
Were they slippery as shit?
Yeah. It was bad.
So that is what Dan Tom and a couple people have attributed to a lot of the injuries, not only for Dom Cruz but Alliance fighters.
All I'll say is I can definitely see like non-contact injuries happening because of that. Like, just like, oh fuck.
Well, no, and just like when, especially for such a footwork heavy camp, like you figure having a slick surface would be bad for your knees.
Based on footage or what I've seen from what they're, I haven't visited.
No, their new places I heard is much better.
It looks like state of the art.
Well, and it also they have a lot more. The problem with their old places, they didn't have a lot of airflow, right?
No, it was like
like
looked like they
warehouse.
just took over an old school warehouse or boxing gym.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But it was like
approach. But if you want to avoid like you were mentioning those non-contact injuries, you don't want to be slipping, man. Especially if you're a footwork kind of movement, kind of flowy, kind of fight camp. You can't be doing that. You goddamn know well. There's no way Floyd Mayweather in his heyday was at.
Also shoes, but yeah.
But yeah, that's a fair point. He's wearing boxing
but still,
shoes.
though, he if the mats are slippery, you're still gonna slip. So anyway, something that I heard Dan Tom mention that I was curious about your take on.
That's good that he brought that up.
That's cool. That's very interesting. Yeah, I like Alliance. As flawed as Alliance is, I love
that being
them for
said,
it.
yeah, I wish Angie Hill would have been there when I was visiting there.
Dude, yeah, or Penne.
Or Penne, yeah.
Who got the win? I do
remember originally I was supposed to interview Penne, and then she wasn't available.
I think that was right around the time she just got, because that would have been 16.
I think if
15
I recall,
or 16.
she had like a
so
broken
she just.
nose.
I'm gonna say, bro. I think it might have been right around the JJ
I think it was when
fight.
she fought Joanna.
I'm saying.
I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
I'm saying. I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
I'm doing the math, and I'm like, I don't think it was. I think that might have been it. But yeah, it's awesome to see Penne back in there competing, and yeah, I've always been a big fan of Alliance guys, and we always will be. We are clearly homers. San Diego doesn't have a lot of winning people, and good God, are there very rarely winning people in San Diego who are likable people outside of the two who existed, one of which shot themselves in the chest. So I feel like as San Diegans, we really try really hard to have positive fucking members of athletics in our city. I really appreciate Alliance for doing that.
The only people that win in San Diego, it's like it's individual sports or like racing, like just NASCAR in general.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even then, it's like,
but like also NASCAR is not San Diego. Like no,
yeah,
there's no events.
I mean, it's San Diego, but it's like, but there's still no events here with stock car racing. It's not. You have to go to Laguna Seca up north, like way up north.
Also, Shasta Laguna Seca, one of the prettiest racetracks. That fucking corkscrew on that hill. I went there for when they do the vintage car races when I was a kid.
Yep.
It's the coolest shit of all time.
That's when my dad had a cousin who I think had owned a car up there, and I remember I went a couple times as a kid.
Oh, it's so cool, dude. Yeah, we are such middle class white dudes, Chris. That is the most middle class white dude thing to do, is be like, oh, we went and looked at cars at Laguna Seca when we were kids.
Everyone else in their mind, in their head, is like 7-year-old them is like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Or they're like, oh, these poor fucks. They could not even get on the course if it was not for this event. Yeah, no, 100%. That is hilarious that we both did that. And dude, it's so pretty. Oh my God, that fucking, you know what turn I'm talking about, right? The one, the turn down with the.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Anybody who's played a fucking GTA or not GTA, Gran Turismo game,
Forza or Gran Turismo, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the Laguna Seca track where you hit that S curve that's down a hill. You will, dude. What? That's a trick. It's tricky as shit.
Talk about racing. I remember someone asked me the other day. I don't know if I was talking to Trevor and we were drunk or whatever. He's like, hey man, what would you do like right now if you inherited a shit ton of money? I said, swear to God, I'd probably create my own racing team for F1 or even NASCAR. I'm not even kidding. Like that'd be so fun.
You'd have to have infinite money though. That's like Prince of Monaco kind of money.
He said,
yeah.
Fuck you money.
Oh yeah. Like, fuck you money.
Or I'd be a race car driver. Swear to God.
You don't have the eyesight or reflexes, bro.
Oh, I know, because I've never trained.
Yeah.
I know that.
Also, you're not 13, so it's not going to happen for you.
Yeah, so I can't start at some age.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless I'm like some fucking golden god prodigy, which no, it doesn't.
You would have found out by now, bro.
Yeah. I would have known, hey,
when
I'm running away, getting from the cops.
Yeah, yeah. When you were drifting through cop cars, you would have found out. 100%.
Yeah, even the cops are like, hey man, you should take this up as a fucking profession.
Right. Yeah, when you were setting records at Qualcomm, we would have known.
Hey, do you remember Street Legal?
Fucking Street Legal, Jesus Christ. That shit was so shady, dog. I know so many people bought drugs at those events. Oh my God. Anyway. Hey, we are not a drug selling show.
Or a racing show.
Or any of the things we're talking about. We're Robert Whittaker won a big old fight. We should talk about Robert Whittaker's insane performance against Kelvin Gastelum.
Kelvin? Yes.
Dude, okay, first off, before we get to this, Mark, in a couple sentences, can you tell us why F1 is dope as hell? Because a lot of people I know who like MMA love F1, and I don't fucking get it.
Pulver, it's cool.
But why F1 against any other? Is it just because nobody knows about other kinds of racing?
I'll be honest. The only good racing is F1.
Why? Because like vintage racing is so much doper to me.
Are you talking about like just vintage F1 or
no vintage car racing, or I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to relate to F1 models of cars.
It's okay, so it's harder to relate for Americans because it's always dominated just by European,
right?
Obviously, like Mercedes and Ferrari.
That is you know what? You're 100% nailing why I can't at all relate to this shit. It's because I'm a fucking Anglo-ass American who can't relate to European concepts, and I find them weird and foreign.
Yeah, see, I would be more into it if the Italian side of my family gave a fuck about it, but they didn't. The only reason why I was into it for a second was because of the good movies that came from a lot of F1 stuff, and just from highlights I've seen of like Lewis Hamilton, who's like the most successful besides Michael Schumacher and what the fuck the other guy's name?
Yeah, because I know like Fernando Proches and Daniel Riendeau love F1 and
So what was the last racing movie you've seen or like F1? Because I'll just give you.
Dude, it's been a long time.
That's recent.
Like probably a Le Mans movie is probably the last one I've seen.
Okay, so Le Mans movie, Ford versus Ferrari.
I love Ford versus Ferrari. That shit is so. But like that's what I'm talking about though. Is like it's at least a little bit more like relatable car wise.
So if you want like pure F1, but it took place in the 70s, Rush, the Ron Howard film, movie's fucking great.
Okay.
With Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Brühl.
Oh, I want a documentary, bro.
Oh, you want a documentary? Okay, I know 30 for 30 they had one, but
there's
I need
probably
to find
a dope 30 for 30, right?
I need to find a proper one. But yeah, F1's dope. My boss, Simon, a massive F1 guy, but he's also English as fuck. So
Yeah, and I totally get that. Like, first off, does Simon own an MG?
Yes, he does. He does own an MG.
Yes, nailed it. Oh. My dad owns a bunch of them. That's how I can tell.
Pretty dope.
Let me guess, MGC or MGD?
I can't answer that because I'm not sure.
Let me guess. It looks kind of like I don't know, somewhere between Aston Martin and
it's a small roadster style.
Yeah. It's like I'm guessing it's somewhere between like a
if it's a smaller roadster, right?
It's what?
It'd be the D model, right? If it's a smaller
C or D. They're very similar.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it might be. A B, open top.
Yeah, it's a convertible.
It might be a B then. A lot of people really like Bs. My dad had a couple MGC here. I think he had two MGCs, an MGD, a TF, a TC.
Dude, you just reminded me, dude. You know what game I need to get? I can't wait. Gran Turismo 7 for PS5.
Yeah, dude. I've been hearing.
Sport that's still out right now. Because remember, I was all about Forza Horizon, all that on Xbox. It's still great.
The Forza games are bangers though. Gran Turismo fell the fuck off.
That's the only thing I heard. I was like, fuck.
We are not talking about MMA at all again, Chris.
Fuck,
we
no,
do this so
F1.
much. Yeah, we're talking about F1. We're talking about Drive to. Hey,
how much we watch the fights?
Mark fellows, I will absolutely check out Drive to Survive on Netflix. I am going to open a notepad and write that down right now. Because that sounds dope. Also, I don't know if you guys can hear my fucking computer sound like it's going to take off like a goddamn spaceship. It must be very warm in here. All right, Chris. Robert Whittaker won this decision. You saw much more of this on a much more sober state than I did.
He
you got notes?
So just from my visual recollection, it was that patented combat of like that left setup jab to the right straight to the fucking just head kick.
Yep.
Beautiful fucking combo. So goddamn fast.
Dude.
Gastelum did well darting in, but Bobby's just head movement and just the way he was just moving, kind of almost like laterally gliding with his feet. Kind of like a Dominic Cruz, it's not always just Dominic Cruz, but just that fantastic footwork, gliding angularly, and then just pot shotting, like just kind of almost like a looping right, and then setting back up with the guard. It was just a masterclass of just how to just kind of just really just pull up your shell and then counter quickly and then set back and then go to the 1-2 and then head kick. It was just fucking, dude, the dude was lightning quick.
Yeah, well, and lightning quick is the right way to say it because he felt light years ahead of Kelvin Gastelum in all of the exchanges.
Almost knew what Gastelum was gonna throw.
The third round was pretty competitive from what I saw. I skimmed through a lot of this fight. I'm not gonna lie. I still need to go back, like not skim through, but I was watching this while fucked up, and then my rewatch right now was skimming. So I need to watch it a third and probably a couple more times.
You got a WUI, a WUI, watching under the influence.
Yeah, well, when do I not? But this one was especially as special. If you
know what? I actually like the term WUI, considering half the drunk fans at UFC events are always like, "Woo!"
Dude, I don't.
I'm a pen that. If I coined that term. Fuck
I hate it, but that's probably
It's
a
terrible.
good. That's
No,
probably
it's
a good
dog shit.
sign that I hate it. It probably means it works because I hate most things that work that well. But yeah, no, 100%. Robert Whittaker looked way faster than Gastelum, and while it looked like Gastelum had a good third round, it just looked like Whittaker poured it on way hard after that, and absolutely down the stretch walked away with it. Super impressive. Everybody's saying one of the best performances of his career. I mean, it's pretty hard to argue with. I don't know. He shut out a lot of dudes in his prime, on his way up. Not necessarily the Yoel Romero fights, obviously, but on his way up, the fucking Darren Till fight wasn't that the one where he just completely housed Darren Till?
No, Darren Till in the second round knocked him down pretty bad.
Then who am I thinking of?
Caught him with
Who
an
he
elbow.
completely housed right before that? Oh, Brunson, he completely housed. Souza, he pretty much ran
Speaking
through.
of Brunson, do you see what Darren Till posted today?
Yeah, I sure did.
That last fucking photo, what the fuck? And he's just like,
Dude, they're posting all Darren Till's Twitter and social media game is so weird. And to be fair, Brunson's game is getting even weirder too. So I don't know what to make of it at this
all
point.
the comments raw.
Yeah.
Derek?
It's
Derek?
so weird, yeah. It's problematic, I'm sure. Anyway.
Someone of course said a bit gay in it. It's like, god damn it.
Anyway, very quickly, you want to talk a little bit about 161 going into it? If I would have thought more about this, we probably would have previewed this card. Although now that I'm looking at it, the entire undercard is almost entirely people I don't know the names of.
Are you talking about for 261?
Dude, yes. Are you looking
Let
at
me see.
this?
Yeah, let me see.
I know 2 people's names on the
shit.
undercard. 3.
Let's see, who do I know? I know Carl Roberson, Brendan Allen.
4. I know
Randy
4
Brown,
people.
And Brazilian Cowboy. Yeah, that's about it, and I know the rest after that. Oh my god.
What the fuck is that undercard, dude?
It's probably just a lot of, they needed more regional Chinese fighters, right? Which is great.
Chris,
They did
you
all
know
the
what
time.
it is. You can only pay fighters 20%. So if you have 3 or 6 in this case, well-paid fighters, then guess what the undercard looks like?
Yeah.
Looks like people who are making up that 20% ratio.
Should I give my quick picks since we're kind of already previewing this?
I mean, you want to just hit this main card? Because I'm pretty cool on the main card.
Right now, I think I'll just a quick fire, this guy's
Yeah,
gonna
rapid fire this motherfucker. Here,
right,
let's go one at a time. Who you got for the Anthony Smith, Jimmy Crute?
Jimmy Crute is absolutely going to win this fight. I think Anthony Smith has kind of fallen off quite a bit. Can he win this fight, though? Yeah, I think he can win by submission. I think Jimmy Crute kind of just more relies on his stand-up game, while Anthony's probably a little bit more craftier in the submission game.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't really seen Jimmy too much with his grappling, so I might be selling him short and not being fair to him. But he's also still very
Jimmy
young.
Crute's grappling is very good, but he's more, I would say, submission savvy than wrestling savvy, for sure.
Yeah. I'm favoring Jimmy Crute, though, in this. But I wouldn't be surprised, though, if Anthony Smith wins.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
my take.
going to take Jimmy Crute as well. I think probably if Anthony Smith does find success in this, it's probably after the first round. It's probably be after Jimmy Crute slows down a little bit, if they get into exchanges, and if Jimmy Crute sells out for stuff and can't finish Anthony Smith. I think Anthony Smith can start to work just a roughneck game on him and kind of take him to a little bit deeper waters. What the fuck? I just realized what the next fight was. What the fuck?
So, right now, I have 2 answers to this.
What year is it?
Yeah, the year is...
What year is it?
2010.
It's literally 11 years later.
Yeah, or 2010. Okay. So here's my pick.
I've been asking for this fight since the fucking Anderson Silva fight.
My pick is Uriah Hall. Mostly because, and
Safe Saud?
no disrespect to Chris Weidman, big part of it is Safe Saud, but it's also because Chris Weidman's chin's gone. We've seen in a lot of his fights, Chris Weidman blocks pretty well, and still
also he
grapples
just
well.
boxed the face off of fucking Anderson Silva.
Yeah, and Jacare. Oh,
And
you're talking
Jacare.
about Hall. Are you talking about Hall? Just did it? Yeah.
Hall, yeah.
my point is, if Chris Weidman had a chin, then I'm not just trying to be just crass about this, just blunt. He wins. He just dominates him. He takes him to the ground, and it's over. In my opinion, I think he's just a little more talented. He's not more talented on the feet, but he's just a lot stronger, and he would just take it to the ground if he had his chin. He doesn't have his chin anymore. I know that's fucking mean to say, or maybe a little too critical.
Well, no, he just...
That's how he lost against Jocko.
It's not even that he doesn't have a chin, he just can't take a shot like he used to be able to, right?
Yeah, excuse me.
There's a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, I just remember that
because he took some shots against Jocko.
Yeah, I just remember Jocko. I was like, he's winning this fight, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, crack. I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Weidman still has plenty of talent, but yeah, it's just like, fuck, dude, you're...
Well, he also has been through multiple surgeries. He's also a lot older. He's been fighting for a long time.
Yeah,
and he's been fighting a lot more grueling style.
You got to get this to the ground quick and get a sub.
Yeah, he's got to be able... Well, no, even if he can wrestle Uriah Hall for 2 rounds, I think he can get it. But, like, if he cannot just wrestle Uriah Hall at all, I think this very quickly becomes a lot like...
Sorry, Adam.
Well, honestly, if I remember right, the Ring of Combat fight way back in the day, Uriah Hall was looking pretty good up until Weidman could start wrestling him. Like, if I remember right, Uriah Hall, like, while he was green, he didn't look terrible. It's been Jesus, probably 5 or 6 or 7 years since I've seen that fight. But I remember him doing not bad in that way back when, and that was when Chris Weidman was a much better athlete. And Uriah Hall was honestly safe. So it was like, if there's ever going to be a camp that's going to be able to teach him to stay out, to fucking jab this shit, to just jab and circle on Chris Weidman, if there's ever going to be a dude, it's got to be that, right? Also, Mark Fellows says it. I don't know if you noticed, but we were talking way too much about everything else, not nearly enough about Jimmy Crute.
I know, I feel bad now.
Well, to be fair, Mark Fellows loves him some Jimmy Crute. And I believe, wait, did you... I think Mark Fellows had I want to say he had a shoey bet with somebody about the Jimmy Crute fight, or at least he was trying to get one going. I know me and Mark Fellows do have a Leslie Smith, Chris Cyborg shoey bet, and that shit is problematic. You know what? That'll be the happiest shoey I ever take. I'll tell you that. If Leslie Smith beats Chris Cyborg, I will shoey the shit out of him.
I was like, do you have a work shoe from a long time ago that's not dirty? Then there you go.
Dude, I'm going to buy a shoe. Are you kidding me?
Or a dress shoe. Excuse me. A dress shoe is what you need to find in your house that you don't wear often.
Chris, you think I own a dress shoe, bro?
Maybe.
You know me. You know I don't own a dress shoe. Where am I going to wear a dress shoe to, Chris?
I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have dress shoes just for an occasional fancy
I sure don't. I sure don't have that.
All right.
My dress shoes, they be skate shoes.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
No, I know. I'm fucking around.
But you know what I mean, though. It's a fair question, though. That is a good shoe, though, for a shoe.
No, I know. I'm fucking around with you, buddy. Yeah. Also, Mark Fellows saying in chat he want to show you about Pat OJ. Oh, I know. I watched you do it to him, bro. It was.
That was funny.
It was aggressive and hilarious because Pat legit did not think that was going to go down like that. All right, we got 3 title fights, Chris. Okay. One of these, or 2 of these. I feel like
I've got.
Actually, we have the same picks, don't we?
I'm pretty sure we do. So I got Shevchenko, Zhang, and Usman.
Yeah, I'm going all homers. The only thing I can say is, if Andrade can...
I think she's the most likely upset of these 3 title fights.
I think she's the most likely...
That's my opinion.
I think Rose in the first might be the most likely. Okay, I'll say this. She's the most likely after the first round. But even then... see, I don't know. Because I like Jorge Masvidal, I don't... He's going to... Y'all see the last fight? Y'all see any Jorge Masvidal fight against a wrestler? Since Bodog?
Yeah.
Like, unless Usman's injured, which is possible, or unless he gasses, which is possible, because COVID, like, hey, you got to give that at least an idea. Or if Jorge Masvidal hits some fucking crazy flying shit or weird shit,
I can see him landing like some gnarly elbow in like a tie clinch. That's
sure,
definitely...
or like throwing a bomb and just like timing it right. You know, that shit happens. Not at all how I bet it. And honestly, I guess I actually think Rose is probably the most likely to take a belt.
Yeah.
Only because... So, Andrade, I think, is absolutely...
Is it mostly because she doesn't see red? I'm kidding.
Oh, bro. Oh, my God. That was... It was what... As Sam Tripoli, the problematic one himself, would say, well written. Or Sam to Claus. I'm sorry. Yeah. So here's the thing. I just don't know what to make of Rose Namajunas and Zhang Weili and compared to Andrade and Shevchenko, because I think one of these fights somebody is going to show the fuck up in, and I don't know which one.
I think it's Andrade.
Well, I have way more faith in Andrade to just throw fucking caution to the wind. But I also have way more faith in Andrade to get absolutely flatlined for doing so.
So I think Andrade, what she's going to do, her success is going to be just basically bear hugging the fuck out of Shevchenko and like
closing
her
all
to the
distance
ground.
And trying not to get on her back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, what are the odds she immediately ends up on her back?
Yeah.
Or immediately gets smashed for trying to counter or rush.
Yeah, like going into a knee up the middle. Yeah.
Or not even a knee, but like just square into a punch or a kick. Yeah. Especially as somebody who's vulnerable to the body.
Out of these three fights, I am mostly confident in Zhang Weili knocking out Rose. As far as finishes are.
See, I got Usman all day as the most confident.
Oh no, he's the most 100%. Usman's winning that fight.
Oh, you mean out of those two? Yeah. See, Zhang Weili, I think so too. The only thing is, I think Rose will be very formidable for about 7 minutes, like she always is.
Early,
yeah, where she's very slick. She's going to use her range. But I think as soon as Weili starts putting actual volume and pressure on her, I think that's going to be rough.
So to finish this off, we have the 3 same picks, which is fine. Who does Usman fight after Masvidal? It's got to be Colby. Or is it going to be Leon after Leon dispatches Nate Diaz? Because that fight should not be happening, but whatever, it's a thing. It's a fucking stupid fight, but I mean, I'm still going to watch it.
The fight should be Leon. The fights always should have been Leon.
So it'll be Leon next.
I don't think it will be.
No, probably
it should be, but no.
What about Wonder Boy? Oh no, I think Wonder Boy's fighting Gilbert Burns. I forgot that fight got scheduled.
Yeah,
that's fucking right.
So,
holy shit,
Chris, here's the other thing. This fight's happening in Jacksonville, Florida, with a full-ass crowd.
Oh no.
That's this weekend. I don't know if you didn't remember that, did you?
No, I remember it was this weekend. I forgot it was in Jacksonville, full capacity.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting the Cobra.
I mean, Jacksonville has been wildly misrepresenting their numbers and have been having mad death rates and up spikes, and this is an indoor venue. So, the UFC is going to kill a lot of people this weekend.
Hence that disclaimer they have when you buy your death ticket.
Yeah. No, literally, like, we're reporting on a death event. Okay, Chris, new take. Is the UFC a death cult? Go.
Indirectly?
Aren't they all indirectly? Isn't every death cult indirectly a death cult?
Yeah, so they are. They are indirectly a death cult.
Okay, facts. We are signing off here. The UFC,
hey, that's when
a
it
death
says
cult.
Headline. You know, if it's clickbait, it says Sound of Violence podcast defeats something with facts and logic. You know, like in all caps.
Oh, yeah, no. Debate me, bro. UFC is a death cult. Debate me,
sorry,
bro.
all I heard was bait you.
Yeah, well, to be fair, that's what they be hearing. Well, on that note, oh my God, I hope you guys feel better about the sport and not worse. I'm
Oh,
sorry
by the
we
way,
did this to
shouts out
you.
to John Nash for saying Rose Namajunas is either Sergeant Slaughter going to this fight or John Walker, U.S. agent from Captain America. I'm like, yeah, that's unfortunate.
It's a very wide gambit, bro. But oh yeah, I mean, kind of. God, imagine being Sergeant Slaughter in 01 like he was. That's a bad comparison. I mean, Rose should feel bad. Oh, but Rose should feel bad anyway for being, well, actually, fuck Pat Barry. I guess that's my point.
She should feel bad, but she shouldn't. She got taken advantage of. That's another story.
I hate everything, Chris. Why at the end of every episode do I want to quit this show every time and then just keeps pulling me back in?
It's like, here's something everyone knows. There are interesting, bad, and shittier people in every sport. That's how.
Good point, Chris. I can't. It's not like I could change to a different sport.
We could be a podcast about F1, and we'll find some shitty people.
Hey, there's bad people in skateboarding, and skateboarding's a lot of good people. So,
There's probably bad people in surfing.
Oh, there definitely is.
Actually,
the Gracies, if you want to start with just them.
There's a lot of Nazis.
Yeah, there's a lot of Nazis, and there's a lot of Gracies involved in surfing. So
okay,
that'll
some bad people in bowling.
Oh, 100%. Again, Nazis, the Midwest, bro.
Yeah, people that don't market zero.
Yeah. Show her fucking Shabbos.
Roll.
All right. On that note, I guess it's probably time to wrap it. We love you guys if you're here at this point. First off, you're not, but if you are, I'm gonna smoke another bowl of Seth Rogen weed. I've not been talking nearly enough about it, but I think you can tell by the weird energy I have that it's a very aggressive sativa. It's a fucking super aggressive sativa. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight, evidently. So.
Oh hell no.
I'm going to be smoking weed till 4:20 in the morning.
Oh, I just killed what looked like a black widow in my room. That was scary. Not even kidding.
That's San Diego, bruh. Yo, low-key, though, we do have a lot of black widows around here. Only ones that are recluse. That shit is the shit that scares me. Black widows, Brown recluse is different thing.
Like you wake up, your thumb's falling out.
Dude, dog, I've seen a couple. I've come across more than enough of those motherfuckers. I had to drag people from the zoo when I was a kid to figure out what.
Don't they kind of look like if Daddy Longlegs had like really long abdomens or something weird like that? I can't remember. Maybe I should look it up.
Yeah, when you see him, you'll know it.
Fuck.
But yeah. We are wrapping this here. Chris, this was a wild ass episode, but I had a great time. I hope everybody has the dopest 420. I've been drinking the Maharaja IPA. I am not drinking all tomorrow. I'm probably going to do some more weed orders. Oh, I didn't even mention, I did also for 420 buy some of the Walfredo from FloraCal. That's also they partnered with Seed Junkie, which if you guys know Seed Junkie Genetics, that shit's gonna be fire. It is also 28.88% THC, 30.89% total cannabinoids, and it's supposed to be a banger. And I also have some Stizzy cherry pie hash rosin that I picked up as well that I'm gonna be dabbing this shit out of. Well as I think I got a Moon chocolate bar, so I'm going hard this 420, y'all. And I also might buy some more. Shit, I might get some of that Urkel. I'm not going to lie. Also, happy Maharaja Day, Mark Fellows, as well. Wait, Maharaja as in the beer, or Maharaja as in the dude? Or the holiday? Because there was a great beer also for... Oh, wait. I just realized I'm drinking the Maharaja. I got it. I'm so fucking high at this point, bro.
I'll let you go, man.
Wow, at that point.
Good one.
Chris, you got anything you want to shout out before we're out of here?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, happy 420, y'all. Yeah.